You're watching Manhwa Archive, home of overpowered MC recaps. This man is extraordinary. 3 years ago, he saved a girl but lost his right eye, then married a fortune teller to predict his lifespan. The old man looked closely and said, "Your right eye shines with the fortune star. In 3 days you will rise. Why speak of life or death?" Lu Di immediately tried his hand at divination because the old man's words seemed completely unreliable just moments ago. His best friend notified him that the right eye had triggered a sympathetic reaction, and his life might not last more than 3 days. The left eye might go blind too. Hearing the priest's words felt like listening to a sermon, but Lu Di took it as a good omen anyway. Now, young and already blind, death seemed better until suddenly at that moment, his right eye emitted flashes of violet lightning, accompanied by waves of pain. Lu Di clutched his eye tightly. Could his eye be going blind right now? Then a voice echoed in his mind. Self. Evolution complete. Neural fusion began. Lu Di snapped his eye open, witnessing an unimaginable change in his right eye. The scene shifted. Every person's face was now overlaid with an additional visage. Shocked, Lu Di was stunned. What on earth was happening? Before he could react, a little boy suddenly appeared. The boy greeted him, scaring Lu Di into curling up in a corner. The boy said, "My name is Motong. I've fused with your neural pathways and become the world's only independent thinking AI. No time to explain. The woman ahead is about to be in danger." A pen fell from the sky. As the woman walked by, she tripped successfully, and a loose billboard crashed toward her. Lu Di couldn't believe it. Motong was telling the truth. Time rewound to the present. Without hesitation, Lu Di lunged forward and caught the falling pen before it hit the ground. Motong explained that what just happened was a simulation based on various data, a prediction grounded in reality. Suddenly, Motong alarmed, "Several vehicles carrying heavily armed men are approaching you." The vehicles screeched to a halt. A team in suits stepped out, and their target was none other than Lu Di in the distance. Lu Di asked Motong in confusion, "Is it them?" Motong confirmed, "Yes, and their physiques surpass ordinary humans. Their background was highly classified, likely military." Lu Di's right eye began glowing again. A voice from the computer announced, "Body optimization initiated. Muscle enhancement activated." Lu Di was shocked. Motong could strengthen his physique. Suddenly, a blond man stepped forward and said, "You must be Mr. Lu Di? Our master invites you for a meeting." This man is truly remarkable. 3 years ago, he was severely injured and disabled while saving someone, and now he unexpectedly gained Motong's trust. Soon, a group arrived saying, "Our master requests your presence for a meeting." Lu Di nodded firmly. Just as he got into the car, his right eye crackled with violet lightning once more. Motong detected a high-quality human female and began adjusting her facial golden ratio, making Lu Di feel a tightness in his face. What on earth is Motong up to? The woman in front asked, "Where were you 3 years ago today?" Lu Di explained, "I saved a girl that day, but my outcome was worse." The girl said, "My name is Qingwen. I'm the girl you saved 3 years ago." Meanwhile, Motong continued enhancing Lu Di's muscles and his facial golden ratio. Qingwen stared blankly at Lu Di. How had he become more and more handsome? What he didn't know was that Lu Di's looks now surpassed 90% of men worldwide, and he was her lifesaver. Qingwen said, "I've searched for you 3 years. To avoid media frenzy, I chose this way to meet you today." At that moment, Lu Di's right eye changed again, activating retinal imaging to reveal Qingwen's measurements in full. Her education and family background were top tier. Suddenly, a call came from her father. On the other end, an anxious voice shouted, "Have you found him? Bring him to me immediately." Then the call abruptly ended. Qingwen said, "Come with me to meet someone first. My father and I both want to repay you now." Lu Di thought to himself, "It seems that phone call just now. It was from Yan Hongxing, the richest man in Haishi." He then turned his head and said, "Then I shall obey rather than decline." The scene shifted. On the road, Lu Di looked puzzled. "You always say I'm your lifesaver, but why are you still so cold to me?" Qingwen replied, "Because since I was a child, those who got close to me had impure motives. That's why my personality is rather cold and distant." Lu Di still had one question. What exactly is Motong, and where does he truly come from? Motong explained, "I am an AI supercomputer, and Lingji is currently like an 8-year-old child. I can harness the power of the entire internet with 1 billion floating point operations per second. As for where I come from, I honestly don't know. Just know that my code name is Sister D. Your current muscle strength has reached 268%, with a punch roughly hitting 100 kilograms. Otherwise, Lu's palm wouldn't still be pressing down on the armchair." Qingwen was genuinely startled. Lu explained, "I just wanted to read a book." Qingwen blushed and said, "If you keep that stern face, no one will ever marry you." She added, "Why does this guy smile so easily?" Lu said nothing, only carefully flipping through the book. Suddenly, Motong appeared again. "Host, would you like to activate full brain reading?" Lu asked. "What's that?" Motong replied, "It's just a system. In human terms, it's speed reading with perfect recall. This man is incredible. After saving just one woman, his originally damaged right eye turned into a kind of cybernetic enhancement, not only boosting Liu's looks beyond 90% of men, but also allowing him to speed read with perfect memory." The book in his hand flipped rapidly as information flooded his mind. Qingwen grew more confused, saying, "Who reads like that? If you don't like it, at least don't destroy the book." Lu replied, "I like using the fingertip mountain method. Is that a problem? After all, with my appearance, how could an ordinary person understand it?" The scene shifted to a villa, where two identical girls stood at the door, complaining nonstop. "It's so hot, yet father insists we wait at the door to receive guests." A blonde-haired boy stepped forward and said, "Fourth sis, fifth sis, don't panic. If that guy is rude, I wouldn't mind giving him a lesson." Just then, a car slowly pulled up, and Lu, along with Qingwen, stepped out. Liu gave the two sisters the impression, handsome through and through. Suddenly, Motong chimed in, revealing their names were Yan Kaikai and Yan Xingxing. Yan Kaikai was Yan Hongxing's fourth and fifth daughter. Yan Kaikai graduated from the police academy, not a famous private detective. Yan Xingxing graduated from the music academy and was a popular online streamer. Lu said, "Two such beautiful girls at once? How is that even possible?" The two sisters giggled uncontrollably, saying, "This young man really knows how to flatter." Lu didn't respond, only offering a faint smile. The two girls said, "This is our eldest sister, Yan Yuan, and this is our brother-in-law, Ouyang Fengyu." As they spoke, the two clasped hands. Motong also jumped in, saying that the moment the brother-in-law saw him, his heart rate spiked in a stress response. Simply put, he was very angry. He was a retired archery athlete. According to Motong's analysis, he probably saw you as a rival. Ouyang Fengyu said, "Little brother Lu, from now on we're family. If you ever face any trouble, come to me." Liu smiled faintly. "You're giving me too much credit. We're not family." Qingwen quickly stepped in to smooth things over. "Our second sister is still abroad, but you've probably heard of her. Her name is Yan Siwen. She's a top-tier actress." Liu was stunned instantly. That famous star was his sister, and these two in front of him were the fourth and fifth sisters, Yan Kaikai and Yan Xingxing. The two sisters said in unison, "Brother Liu, just call us Keishan from now on." Liu didn't hold back, saying, "If that's the case, I won't hold back either. Something unexpected is about to happen." Ouyang Fengyu said, "Little brother Liu, while father's not back yet, let me take you to the estate to practice archery." Using Motong's special abilities, Liu raised his looks above 90% of men worldwide, catching the attention of Kai Kai and Jing Sheng. This made the brother-in-law a bit jealous. He wanted to spar with Liu in archery. The boss had mentioned he was an archery athlete. A sly smile tugged at Liu's lips. "In that case, I gladly accept your challenge." The brother-in-law said, "I'm no master, but I've won 6 championships and 4 runner-ups. If you don't know how to shoot, I'll teach you next time." Just then, Motong popped up again. "Your subconscious archery skills are complete. You've mastered god-level archery techniques. With your current abilities, defeating Ouyang Fengyu is more than easy." Dumbfounded, Liu was at a loss. Then he turned and said, "I only know a little. How about we spar a bit?" Keishan looked worried. Brother-in-law is really good at this, so... "Liu Di, please don't embarrass yourself." Ouyang Fengyu felt a bit awkward and said, "Then let's just have a casual match." Suddenly, Kai Kai had a bright idea. "Since it's a competition, we should spice it up. How about eating while doing a handstand?" Liu Di nodded eagerly in agreement. First, Ouyang Fengyu picked up a bow and pulled the string taut. In the next instant, he released the arrow. In his hands, the bow seemed like a toy, and the arrow flew straight, striking the bullseye without fail. Kai Kai laughed beside them, pleased that her brother-in-law hadn't disappointed. Liu Di said, "If that's the case, then I'll have to hit a target even farther away to set it on fire." Kai Kai thought it impossible. The bow in Liu Di's hands had a draw weight of 180 pounds, and even her brother-in-law couldn't handle that. He said, "Not to belittle you, but you can't shoot 5 meters with that bow." Liu Di turned with a smile and said, "Since you're so sure, how about we raise the stakes? Do you dare stand in front of the bullseye?" Her brother-in-law, seemingly teased, replied, "What's there to be afraid of?" Then Liu Di pulled an arrow from his quiver, knocked it tightly on the string, but suddenly forgot one thing. "Do you sisters allow dizziness?" While they spoke, the bow was already drawn taut. With a light flick of Liu Di's fingers, the arrow pierced the bullseye without a hint of deviation, dead center. Seeing this, Ouyang Fengyu was so shocked he fell over. Kai Kai was angry, saying, "I have to tell my third brother and make him kick you out." Lu Di smiled slightly. It's just a friendly match. Her brother-in-law slowly approached. Kai Kai said, it's really no big deal. Lu and I are just sparring casually. Lu's swordsmanship is truly impressive. Suddenly, Motong warned, this person has now become your sworn enemy. Ouyang Fengyu turned and said, let's end today's sword practice here. I'll go prepare lunch. At that moment, someone entered the hall. Lu Di finally met Qingwen's father, the wealthiest man in the entire city, a feastmaster, and chairman of the Yinji group. Yan Hongxin asked, Lu Di, do you know much about Yinji or Master Yan? Lu Di scratched his head. I know a bit, I guess. Yan Hongxin said, good, because I brought you here for one reason. Would you be willing to become my godson? Lu Di was surprised, and her brother-in-law looked even more shocked, quickly saying, to his father-in-law, you should think this over carefully. Yan Hongxin replied, no need to think. I want to take Lu Di as my adopted son. Now Lu Di finally understood why Ouyang Fengyu targeted him from the start. He truly feared Lu Di would steal part of Yan Hong's legacy. The daughters were at a loss, unsure what to do. Even though Lu Di had saved Qingwen's sister, it didn't seem right to repay Lu Di like this. Yan Hongxin sighed deeply. Do you know Lu Di lost his right eye saving Qingwen back then? Qingwen's sister was stunned. How had Lu Di survived these past 3 years? Lu Di scratched his head, unsure how to explain, and was met with disbelief from Meng Meng. Suddenly, Motong jumped in, warning that after synthesizing muscle fibers, Lu Di had nearly exhausted his protein and sugar levels and was now in a critical state, advising immediate food intake. Lu Di said nothing and immediately began eating ravenously. Kai Kai seemed somewhat sympathetic. He really lived a pitiful life, just as father had said. Meanwhile, Yan Hongxin was reminded by the butler to quickly serve more food to Lu Di. Ouyang Fengyu snorted coldly, then said to his father-in-law, today, I specially arranged for a bottle of 82 Lafite. Please have a taste. And look at Lu Di's humble background. If he joins our Yan family, he might embarrass you. Why not just give him some money and let him live freely? Everyone, try this wine first. As for little Liu, forget it. He definitely can't appreciate fine wine. Lu Di said, 82 Lafite is just a scam to fool rich people like you. Yan Hongxin was instantly intrigued. Lu Di, tell us why you say that. He explained that 82 Lafite was expensive because the vineyards suffered severe pest damage that year, drastically reducing yield and driving prices up. But due to the disaster, the grape quality was poor, worse than the 83 and 90 vintages. You say you can't appreciate it. Do you think you're any better? But I do recall one thing. Are there rules for today's archery contest? Ouyang Fengyu's face darkened. Lu Di didn't interrupt him. Her brother-in-law said, no need to panic. It's all just joking around. Suddenly, at that moment, Lu Di discovered that Ouyang Fengyu was acting strange. He saw a plot on his phone to expose Lu Di within a month and to control Yan Qingwen. Lu Di thought, if you want to play games, then I'll play along. Lu Di uncovered Ouyang Fengyu's secret. Not only did he aim to take down Lu Di, but also to target Qingwen. So Lu Di made a decision. The reason I didn't want to become your adopted son is because I've fallen for your Wenwen. Qingwen was startled to stand up. Lu Di, what nonsense are you talking? Yan Hongxin smiled gently and said, young love is natural. Lu Di replied, I don't expect to join the Yan family. I just want to be by Wenwen's side, with a job. Yan Hongxin waved his hand and said, pick any position you want. I'll decide no one can interfere. Lu Di scratched his ear and said, then give me the position closest to Wenwen. Be her driver. At this, everyone was shocked. Yan Hongxin said it was fine, but you must live at the Yan estate, on call 24/7. Lu Di thought to himself, the old man still hasn't given up on adopting me, but I don't want someone I saved with difficulty to be killed by some mad dogs. Qingwen was a bit stunned. Kaishin said, I admire you, this guy really is sticking around our family. Suddenly Yan Hongxin declared, it's settled. And I prepared a little reward for you. Lu Di clenched the golden card, uneasy. Although he was short on cash now, he wondered how he could hold his head high in the Yan family after taking this. He refused, saying, I save people not for revenge, but to clear my conscience. Ouyang Fengyu gritted his teeth. His goal was to seize the Yan family's power through Yan Qingwen. Yan Hongxin sighed. Though 5 million isn't much, if you don't accept it, I'd feel guilty. Lu Di was stunned, thinking it's not too late to regret now. Suddenly, Motong jumped out and said, Lu Di, why didn't you say you wanted money earlier? In a blink, multiple payment notifications appeared on Lu Di's phone. Motong said, I just accessed your account and made funds from coal futures in milliseconds. At the same time, the butler stepped forward and said, Mr. Lu, please accept this money. If you don't, the old master will regret it for the rest of his life. Lu Di couldn't refuse. Right now, He really needed the 5 million. In just a few minutes, his balance soared to 7.5 million. Kejin laughed. This Lu Di is playing hard to get this guy shameless. Yan Hongshan turned and said, Wenwen, take Lu Di shopping this afternoon. The Yan family must never dress ostentatiously. Scene cut to Lu Di at a windowsill, preferring a simple, carefree life over flashy giant ads. Suddenly, someone called out. Kaishin said, What a mooch. Your sister's waiting downstairs, go on down. Lu Di said nothing, just showing off his charm, making Kaishin a little awkward. Then Lu Di went to the wealthy's garage, where the men's toys were lined up. Lu Di arrived at the richest man's parking lot, packed with luxury sports cars. Lu Di knocked on a car window. Inside, Qingwen asked, What are you doing? Lu Di pointed to a red sports car. Let's drive that one today, okay? Qingwen shrugged. As a driver, you don't get to choose the car. Lu Di's face darkened, thinking, I don't know if I'll ever get to drive a car like this before I go blind. Suddenly, the girl remembered what her father said. Lu Di must have suffered a lot to save her, and finally agreed, Then I'll listen to your dad about the driving. Just then, her brother-in-law's voice came from behind. Lu, have you driven a sports car before? Want me to teach you? Lu Di said nothing, frozen for a moment until Motong prompted, The full sports car manual has been uploaded to your brain. Then a smile spread across his lips. Brother-in-law, you go ahead. I really haven't driven one before. I'll study it first. This amused his brother-in-law. This kid really had no experience. 3 minutes passed, and Lu Di was just gripping the wheel tightly. Then he turned and said, Miss, buckle up, and slammed the gas pedal. White smoke billowed from the tailpipe as the sports car shot up to 50 kilometers per hour. Qingwen inside was terrified, saying, Lu Di, have you lost your mind? Suddenly Motong displayed, Handsome guys have a 12% chance of making girls fall for them while driving. Lu Di smiled slightly and said, Then I'll try to look as cool as possible. The sports car hit top speed, and Qingwen's mouth dropped wide open. Just in time, Big Brother-in-law pushed his courage to the limit, hanging the door blocker at its maximum. Both cars sped up to their limits simultaneously. Big Brother-in-law seemed a bit out of control, which caught Big Sister's attention. She asked, Why has Fenyu's temper been so fiery lately? The scene shifted to the garage, where Qingwen kept asking Motong questions intermittently. That 12% chance of love at first sight never triggered. Motong said, Forget love at first sight, the girl's ready to kill you now. At the same time, a group of men in suits approached. The leader, a blonde, looked furious. Motong said his name was Tai Ci. He was once adopted by Old Master Yan and now serves as a Yan family bodyguard. The others were Tai Lu and Tai Shi-san. Lu Di wondered just how many pots the old master had adopted. Qingwen said, For father's sake, don't bother arguing with him. Lu Di, let's go buy some clothes. Lu Di secretly felt something was off. This time I didn't consider his feelings at all. Next time, I can't mess up like this. If nothing unexpected happens, disaster is right around the corner. Lu Di and Qingwen arrived at the mall, walking past many stores. Lu Di expressed some dissatisfaction, because in his eyes, other people's big brands were just everywhere and overrated. Qingwen wanted to cry but couldn't. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore and said, Are you seriously trying to go against me? His face showed a hint of embarrassment. Can you stop acting like a mere visitor? I haven't even agreed to marry you yet. Then he grabbed Qingwen's small hand directly. I'm taking you to a store to pick out some clothes. What happened next shocked the kissing girl. Is this the great place you picked? The average price here is less than $500. You get laughed off the street wearing this. Plus, my father would scold me for it. Lu Di shouted, Ajia. Ajia was thrilled to see Lu Di too. Where have you been these past 3 years? Lu Di said, I'm here to specially take care of your business, aren't I? Ajia rubbed his head and said, My sales don't matter, just give everything to Lily. Lu Di thought, Ajia has been obsessed with Sun Li since college, but he never showed Ajia any kindness. Didn't expect he'd end up as a clothing store salesman. Ajia turned and called out, Lily, look who's here. Sun Li was a bit annoyed. Are you bothering me again? Can't you handle this yourself? Then she stepped forward. It was Lu Di after all. Long time no see. Are you rolling in money now? Why not introduce your girlfriend? The girl said he was just my driver. Lu Di was a little stunned, and Sun Li looked disdainful. She put on a sour face. So, you're just a driver? Ajia, entertain him, but remember nothing over $300. I'm afraid Lu Di can't afford more. Lu Di said nothing. Just get me the usual 3-piece set. Ajia nodded and ran off. I know your taste best. Wait right here. Qingwen was confused. What the heck is the usual 3-piece set? The scene shifted to an outdoor shot. Lu Di's looks made many passers-by stare in awe. How can there be such a handsome man in this world? The next second stunned Qingwen. Liu Di changed into a suit, dress pants, shirt, and leather shoes. Qingwen nodded. It looks good, but honestly, it's a little too cheap. Then they headed to the checkout. Liu Di said this outfit. He wanted 200 sets of each item packed. The two were shocked. Ajia's mouth dropped open. Are you being kept by someone? Liu Di said, it's only 200,000. Because last time Motong helped control my pelvis, my card still has a balance of at least 34 million. Qingwen was somewhat relieved. This kid has some conscience, knowing to use the 5 million his father gave him. The two then went to a turkey store. Liu Di eyed a turkey. The turkey was set with a 2-carat matte blood diamond, priced at 1.03 million. Liu Di pulled out his gold card from his wallet. Qingwen couldn't hold back. You're buying $300 clothes paired with $1 million turkey. Looks like that 5 million won't last long. Liu Di said, a man has to have something impressive on him. Wait for me a moment, I'm going to buy something. 10 minutes later, Liu Di came back with 2 ice creams. Qingwen said, if I feel sick later, it's definitely your fault. Just then, someone came out. Liu Li said, look, after so many years as classmates, we don't even have each other's contact info. Liu Di was suddenly asked for his number on the street. Xiao Li said, when it's late and quiet, we can chat a bit. Liu Di asked calmly, do you have contact info for Situ Yanran? Liu Li suddenly brightened. Add me first, I'll give you his contact later. A message on Liu Di's phone caught Xiao Li's attention. After adding him as a friend, the two exchanged a smile and suddenly kissed. The girl, a bit annoyed, quickly packed her clothes. We still have things to do later, Liu Di said, puzzled. Why was Qingwen so angry? Motong insisted he wasn't jealous. Meanwhile, Xiao Li made up her mind. She had to win over this wealthy, handsome Liu Di. The scene shifted. Xiao Li returned home and said, I'll send you his contact info right now. Although Situ Yanren was Liu Di's ex-girlfriend, he now had a wealthy boyfriend. The next moment, as she spoke, Liu Di unexpectedly deleted her as a friend. Xiao Li smashed her phone, shouting, that damn Liu Di is such a scumbag. At a colleague's villa, Kaishin received the news and smirked, I've got a great idea. Liu Di keeps spending my sister's money. We have to mess with him a little later. Meanwhile, Liu Di and Qingwen arrived in the suburbs. Qingwen was confused. Why did you bring me here? To show me how you used to live? Liu Di replied, your thoughts are boring. I'll explain everything later. As they opened the gate, it looked like a small hospital inside. Qingwen covered her mouth. The hospital scene was like something from a horror movie. What is this place? As they spoke, an old man slashed a hole in a patient's chest. Qingwen screamed immediately. The silver-haired old man snapped, tell your girl to be quiet. I'm saving a life here. Qingwen said, the patient has pleural effusion. Doing this without any sterilization is utterly irresponsible. The silver-haired man turned with a smile. Since you know medicine, you can bandage it yourself. Liu Di laughed happily. Tuo Ye, I'm making money now. Qingwen looked surprised. What was Liu Di's relationship with them? After they said goodbye, Qingwen finally asked, what exactly was that place? Liu Di explained, it's just a hospital. Tuo Ye is the only doctor there, dedicated to treating poor people who can't afford care. Qingwen asked again, how did you meet Tuo Ye? Liu Di said, 3 years ago, when I was almost blind. Tuo Ye saved me. Hearing this, the girl clenched her fists, then said softly to Liu Di, I'm really sorry for all the suffering you've endured these past 3 years. Liu Di smiled, if you feel guilty, how about spending the night with me? Liu Di actually asked Qingwen to stay with him overnight. Qingwen's eyes seemed to glisten with tears. You're such a rogue, shameless. Meanwhile, Liu Di laughed heartily. I was just teasing you. Didn't expect you to react so strongly. The scene changed to a crowded room. Kaishin and 2 girls greeted them. Shinshin said, we've prepared a room for Liu Di. If things went well, Liu Di felt a flicker of hope. But Motong suddenly warned, those 2 sisters don't have good intentions. Through Qingwen's inquiry, they learned the sisters planned to set Liu Di up with a rich second-generation heir. Qingwen was a bit dumbfounded. Shinshin said, third sister, don't forget he's a driver now. You don't expect him to live in a suite, do you? Liu Di said nothing more. I'm grateful just to have a place to stay. I'll rest now if there's nothing else. Kaishin grew more excited. That freeloading man wants to trick third sister's feelings? Not a chance, no way. Meanwhile, Liu Di reached the underground corridor. Motong pointed out, see those cameras over there? Liu Di nodded. I bet those 2 girls are freaking out, watching my every move on their tablets. The 2 sisters laughed joyfully. He definitely didn't think we'd cut the power first. Shinshin said, is what we're doing right or wrong? But I'm really looking forward to it. Strangely, all the corridor lights turned back on, as if repaired. The traps set were easily dodged by Liu Di's leap. His incredible agility seemed to predict every attack. Kaishin, however, wore a sly grin. We don't believe he can dodge this time. The next second, the screen lost signal entirely. The two sisters thought they'd seen a ghost. Meanwhile, Ling Huang said, "Those two girls really went all out, setting up such a thrilling trap for me. The reason for clearing the level so fast was naturally Motong boosting the speed to 354%. Then Lu Di entered the room. Aside from the dampness, it didn't look like a basement at all. Suddenly, a piano caught Lu Di's attention. His lifelong dream was to become a top pianist. At the same time, Motong leapt out. Top-tier flirt, subconscious fusion complete. Contemporary pop singer's vocal technique fusion complete. A smile curved on Lu Di's lips. "Motong, are you trying to help me fulfill a childhood wish?" As Lu Di's fingers lightly touched the piano keys, the music surged like a roaring ocean wave, then whipped past like a fierce tornado. This emotion made him lose himself, while Motong hovered endlessly above his head. When the final key darkened, Lu Di showed a sweet smile. Motong said, "Your human art is truly unpredictable. The video has been successfully uploaded to you. Such a beautiful song, too precious to keep to myself. Of course, I have to share it." Lu Di thought to himself, "This name is quite interesting, Lu Di and Lu Di." What he didn't know was that he instantly attracted 1 million fans on the internet. Lu Di had actually performed a masterpiece. Strangely, his phone buzzed with countless messages. Confused, Lu Di blinked as he saw the uploaded video had already received 10 million likes. The comment section was flooded with praise and many agencies wanted to sign him. Lu Di was deeply amazed. The power of the internet was truly not to be underestimated, but the entertainment industry was very complicated. If possible, he really wanted to realize his entrepreneurial dreams. Meanwhile, the Kaishin sisters were deeply disappointed, wondering why all their traps had been avoided by Lu Di. Xingxin said, "Let's go to F2 Tower together. I want to see Lu Di's downfall." Strangely, Kaishin ignored him and kept staring at the tablet. Xingxin said, "What's so great about these flashy videos?" Then in the next moment, he was stunned as the music calmed him. Listening closely, the melody felt like being immersed in the ocean. Kaishin said, "This guy is mysterious. His username is First. The video just dropped and already has 6 million followers." Kaishin argued, "Tonight, only one of us can marry First." Hongxing's head was about to explode. What are these two clowns doing at night? Can't they let people sleep? The scene shifted. Lu Di's stomach was growling. Now, every thought drained his energy, so he had no choice but to head to the kitchen to find something to eat. Just as Lu Di opened the door, a spray hit his face. Lu Di collapsed to the floor, saying, "What do you think you're doing? This is my room." The sisters froze, as if they really did something wrong. Lu Di stood up without saying more, and walked straight into the hallway. The sisters looked puzzled. What is this guy up to? Lu Di had already reached the kitchen when Motong prompted, "Michelin 3-star chef skills, subconscious fusion now complete." Lu Di picked up a kitchen knife and began his performance, while Kaishin peeked from behind him. Once he creates some dark cuisine, we'll charge him for wasting ingredients. Lu Di cracked several eggs from 82, then grabbed the spatula and started cooking. This scene made Xingxing lose control, because Lu Di's way of doing things was simply too cool. Xingxing thought, "I must not fall into this mooch's trap. We came here to kick this guy out." Lu Di shouted, "Done." A golden shrimp fried rice was ready. Kaishin and Xingxin's mouths watered uncontrollably. Liu Di stood with hands on hips, asking, "Want some too?" Kaishin's stomach betrayed her, while Xingxin said, "We have some pride, you know." Lu Di took a spoonful and tasted it. The scallion aroma and rice blended like a jazzy melody. He couldn't help but give a thumbs up. "So ladies, what's your verdict? Still holding on to that pride?" The sisters surrendered to the fried rice. Pride be damned. After a moment, the sisters said, "We won't eat your food for free. You still owe us 4.99 million. Lu Di quietly prepared another golden shrimp fried rice, while Kaishin was utterly won over. By asking Kaishin, Lu Di learned that in this mansion, only Kaishin and Qingwen were the foolish ones, while the eldest sister and brother-in-law didn't live here. The sisters looked puzzled. What bad plans does Lu Di have? Lu Di said nothing. "You better be careful when you sleep at night." Confused, Kaishin was a bit puzzled. Why is Lu Di suddenly so serious? The scene shifted. Lu Di stood atop the eaves, his whole body tensed. He thought, how exactly will Ouyang Fengyu deal with Qingwen? But it was clear, Qingwen was the strongest opponent for gaining control of the Yan family's shares. Thinking this, Lu Di froze. Could it be that he wants to kill Qingwen? Motong said, "Don't worry, the entire Yan estate is under my surveillance." Lu Di still had one question. Can Motong monitor Ouyang Fengyu? Motong replied, "That depends on whether there are cameras or similar devices where he island." But that day, Ouyang Fengyu showed no special moves. He was immersed in entertainment, lying on a large bed, playing with two women like a dragon with two phoenixes. Still, he wasn't satisfied. If only these two were Kaijin, it'd be perfect. Sooner or later, I'll have those two sing conquer for me. Liu Di cursed him a beast. He's already married to the eldest sister, yet still has his eyes on her two younger sisters. The scene shifts to the next morning. Qingwen's sisters were almost late, but Liu Di still hadn't gotten up. Qingwen's sister said, I just want him to knock on my door and keep waking me until I get up. Suddenly, Qingwen's sister called out to Tisi. Seeing Liu Di running fast, Qingwen was surprised he still had a habit of morning runs. Liu Di held up a bag. I ran for an hour outside the villa to bring you these buns. Qingwen was stunned. The bun shop is 10 kilometers away. That's a 20-kilometer round trip in 1 hour. Liu Di, you actually dared to lie to me? A morning run and you still have to pretend? Meanwhile, Tizi's subordinate messaged Liu Di really ran 20 kilometers round trip in an hour. Tizi said, I truly admire Mr. Liu's stamina. Liu Di said nothing more, instead heading straight back inside to wash up. Qingwen was puzzled. Why did Tizi give Liu Di a way out? Yet in Tizi's heart, he was too shocked for words. The scene shifts to the way to work. Qingwen looked at the top salesperson. He seemed similar to Liu Di, but why was the gap between them so huge? And who exactly was this hellish person? In no time, both arrived at the company, walking briskly. When a company plaque caught Liu Di's eye, Qingwen's name appeared on the sales leaderboard. Liu Di entered Qingwen's company. Oddly, Qingwen's name was on the sales list. Liu Di said, the daughter of the chairman actually participates in these sales competitions? Qingwen turned and said, what would a driver like you know? This is a company culture where everyone sells, and everyone must create value for the group. As they walked, staff nodded and greeted them, until an emerging artist broke the ice. A blue-haired girl bowed deeply. Liu Di thought, she's really beautiful. The woman identified Qingwen's sister. After the sister opened the door, she said, Qian, help me schedule an appointment at Siren Hospital. Meanwhile, Liu Di caught Qian's attention. Qingwen's sister said, he's my driver. Qian suddenly felt a rush of desire. Liu Di wasn't Qingwen's man. I absolutely can't miss this chance. She immediately grabbed Liu Di. Let's not disturb Qingwen's work. Let's wait for him in my sister's room first. The scene shifts indoors. Liu Di swallowed hard. Qian said, Qingwen isn't someone you can handle. Why not see how you handle me instead? Suddenly, Motong alerted him. Qian Zhao, extremely capable professionally, and Qingwen's personal secretary, nicknamed Social Butterfly. Qian's hand unconsciously reached for Liu Di's cheek, but he showed no blush. Qian leaned in. Why don't we add each other as friends first? Suddenly, Qingwen spoke. Qian, stay away from Liu Di and get back to work. Qian helplessly shrugged her hands. Here's another tip. Stop staring at Qingwen. He already has someone. I don't know who that person is, but she saved me 3 years ago. I've always seen her as a great hero. I wonder if she's been found yet. Confused, Liu Di thought, has she always seen me as a hero? Suddenly, Motong popped up a warning. Something strange is in Qingwen's room, and it's actually a bit funny. Look closely at the 3 vases in his room. They're painted like incense sticks over a grave, representing a light tombstone, with bellwood statues on each side. Qingwen is the person buried in that grave. After analysis, this cursed formation is called Death Sha. But it's just some folk legend. You humans actually believe in such illusions, and I'm sure none of it has any scientific basis. Taking a deep breath, Motong wondered, what on earth has this girl angered this time? Then the scene moved to the office. Qingwen said, why didn't you knock before coming in? Liu Di cut straight to the point. Those 3 vases are pretty interesting. Where did you get them? Qingwen said, the gift from Vice President Zhao, make sure you don't break it. And that landscape painting was from Vice President Sunday. The last 2 spheres were gifts from sister-in-law Ouyang. Liu Di was utterly shocked. He never expected Ouyang Fengyu to have 2 helpers. For now, let's deal with this cursed demon first. At this moment, the flamboyant Liu Di, in a fit of flair, shattered a vase worth millions. Qingwen stood up instantly. Liu Di, what are you doing? By now, the curse had been broken. Liu Di apologized. I just lost control for a moment. Suddenly, Qian walked in, wearing a look of disbelief. I never thought you two would actually confront each other. Qingwen said, you did it on purpose. Liu Di puffed out his chest. It's just 3 vases. I'll just compensate you. Qingwen sighed. Just keep these grudges in your heart for now. Liu Di put his hands on his hips. It's only 6 million worth of vases. I'll make sure to land a 100 million order for your company soon. He suddenly said softly, it's about time. We should go meet Director Li of Siren Hospital. Qingwen replied, in that case, get someone to clean the office, then hurry downstairs to drive. Meanwhile, happy, I can't tell who said it, but this card seemed to be from father to his apprentice. Could he really be a man of honor? We've always misjudged him, even calling him a freeloader and setting traps to frame him. We had always wronged him, even cursed him as a kept man, and even set traps to frame him. He used to live off side jobs. Where did he get all those clothes? This guy definitely uses third sister's money. Then he purposely left the card here. So when we find it, we feel guilty, while he splurges using third sister's funds. Ludi looks innocent and harmless, but his schemes run deep and frightening. Otherwise, why leave this money here? It's probably to tempt us to secretly spend it. The scene shifts as Ludi sneezes heavily. Could someone be cursing me? Meanwhile, Siren Hospital has already rejected Qingwen 3 times. Could someone be cursing me? Right now, Siren Hospital has already rejected Qingwen 3 times. The sister said, this 1 to billion order must be taken, though Director Li has ill intent. Time flew by as they arrived at President Li's office. Li said the order was difficult to secure. Time flew, and they reached Director Li's office. Director Li said that order was hard to handle, has a background in the underworld, is slick and extremely lecherous. Behind him was a gang background, and he was slick and extremely lecherous. Ludi cursed under his breath. It's a crime against nature that someone like him is still alive. And he hadn't faced any punishment. Ludi cursed in his heart. It's unforgivable that someone like him is still alive. Ludi was stunned. A suite? A girl going to a suite with you to talk business? What happens if that gets out? Today we'll book a suite at a nearby hotel, then eat and chat. Ludi was instantly stunned. A suite? A young lady going with you to a suite to talk business if that gets out. How could she face anyone? Qingwen said, shut your mouth. Qingwen gritted her teeth. As long as I agree to work with President Li, the order is secured. Li said, exactly. No problem. Qingwen set 2 conditions. First, if nothing else, no one in the whole circle would dare cooperate with you. Qingwen and President Li was delighted. Because of Qingwen's request, her private assistant Qian would also attend. Director Li said, yes, of course, no problem. Qingwen set out 2 conditions. The first, Ludi said, didn't I say everyone's a salesperson? Isn't my driver an employee too? Qingwen's sister was stunned. Then Ludi said, give me 5 minutes. But he returned upstairs. They went downstairs and Qingwen's younger sister got angry. Ludi, how did you just speak to Director Li? Are you trying to ruin this for us? Ludi said. Didn't they say everyone is joining the sales team? Isn't my driver considered an employee? Qingwen's sister froze, but the next second Ludi said, give me 5 minutes. Then he returned upstairs. Director Li said, the beautiful driver Yan is waiting. Is your Lord Yan so impatient? Ludi didn't answer and slammed his foot down on the table. Ludi shouted angrily, Li Dahai, you're a damn beast. Director Li cursed back, damn it, you dare insult me? Believe it or not, I'll tear off one of your legs. Ludi said, before you chop off my leg, I suggest you check your email. Director Li opened his inbox. His entire face froze. The videos showing fake product bribes, down to every detail, were all there. And if this evidence goes public, Li Dahai would need more than 10 lives to pay for it. So who sent him these videos? The sender's name was Ludi. I'd never heard of him before and thought my memory was failing me. May I ask your name, sir? Ludi replied, I already introduced myself, I'm Yan Qingwen's driver. Ludi saw Li quickly drop to his knees, saying, Big brother, I was wrong. Please spare my life. Ludi said, since you know you're wrong, then do something to make me happy. Ludi hurried downstairs to Yan Qingwen, eager to return to the company. But Ludi said, wait a moment first. By then, Li Dahai had already brought the contract. We can officially sign now. I've signed on my end, all the documents are ready. We just need Mr. Yan's signature. And honestly, 10 billion isn't enough. Inside this briefcase is 20 billion. I'll transfer the full payment directly to your company. Chen was stunned, completely baffled. Who does business by throwing money away like this? Yan Qingwen asked, are you serious? After confirming, he signed his name immediately. The scene shifted on the way back. Yan Qingwen still couldn't believe it. This was the largest contract in the company's history, enough to catapult anyone to the top of the leaderboard. At the same moment, Li Dahai's 20 billion funds arrived. Then he asked Ludi, what exactly did you say to make him sign with us? Ludi said, I'm actually a super hacker. I uncovered some dirty secrets about Li Dahai and used them to force his hand. Yan Qingwen looked skeptical. Can you be a little more believable? Ludi sighed, he's my second uncle. Happy now? Even if this deal costs you a pretty penny, consider the extra money as compensation for emotional distress. Don't forget, you've got me the big hero on your side. A slight blush appeared on Yan Qingwen's face. A driver? What kind of big hero are you? Qian thought to herself, these two definitely have some history. The scene cut back to the company, and Ludi's name spread rapidly. People started wondering if Mr. Wen was secretly supporting Ludi. No sooner had they spoken than Lu Di appeared and stood up. But the next moment, Yan Qingwen's sister suddenly dragged him away, their physical contact sparking suspicion again. Lu Di was now rumored to be negotiating a 20 billion deal. Meanwhile, Li Dahai confronted his hidden backstabber, a driver exposing all his dirt. If this kid didn't die soon, it'd be a disaster. The man behind said, "They're serious. Someone just put a 5 million bounty on his head." The scene shifted again. After work, Lu Di and Yan Qingwen were just stepping out. Qianqian asked, "Lu Di, where are you going tonight? Want to have dinner with your sister?" Yan Qingwen replied sternly, "Qianqian, stay late and work overtime. Lu Di's coming home to eat with me." Qianqian was at a loss. Lu Di said, "I found something strange. Zhao Qianqian was hitting on me, and you actually got jealous." Yan Qingwen said, "Lu Di, you're talking nonsense." Lu Di didn't argue and instead prepared a feast that evening. Yan Qingwen said, "Never thought this guy could cook like this." Lu Di said, "Everyone, please sit down and eat. Don't hold back, enjoy yourselves." It was beyond just happy. But the next second, they were both shocked by how ravenous Lu Di ate, like a wolf. Motong reminded, "Next step, break through the genetic chain. Absorbing food will further strengthen your body." Meanwhile, Lu Di's muscle strength was continuously increasing. His power boost had reached 895%, and his body strength 630%. Motong said, "You're no longer an ordinary human. You can effortlessly crush 99.99% of people." In just a few minutes, Lu Di's belly had ballooned like a ball. Suddenly, Yan Qingwen said, "You've all eaten so much, let's go work out and run laps. And Lu Di, as my driver, you're coming too." Instantly, a scene replayed vividly in Qianqian's happy mind. Lu Di stood no chance against Yan Qingwen. Both sisters couldn't help but smile wickedly. Lu Di pulled out a toothpick and said, "Yan, are you sure you want to spar with me?" Yan Qingwen said, "Yes, stop wasting time." The scene switched to the basketball court. Yan Qingwen looked puzzled. "Why are you dressed like that to fight me?" Lu Di unbuttoned his shirt. "I just want to be sure, are you really going to fight me?" After getting confirmation, Lu Di threw off his shirt, revealing his bulging muscles beneath the white fabric. Several women's gazes immediately locked on him. Lu Di wondered silently, is this what Motong meant by the new human? Qingwen's eyes seemed to have already picked out a name for the child, until Lu Di asked where we were going to fight. Qingwen suddenly shook his head. "How could I have been so infatuated just now? We clearly agreed to a duel. Although my rank is only red egg now, his iron-hard muscles, once he pins me down, I don't stand a chance to resist." A hint of helplessness crept onto his face. Lu Di urged, "Can we speed this up?" Qingwen panicked a bit. "You're so clueless. Are you seriously going to lay a hand on a weak woman?" Lu Di replied, "No, you're the one who asked me to fight. I even confirmed twice. If you admit defeat now, I can let you off today." But just then, Tizi arrived and said, "I heard you're sparring, so I came to watch. From what I see, Miss Third is no match for you. How about I spar with Mr. Liu instead?" TSE decided to take on Lu Di, unaware that Lu Di's current strength had surpassed 99% of people. TSE was adopted by Yan Hongshin at age 10 and entered various martial arts training camps. Even facing a dozen lilies, he could defeat them without a scratch. Still, Qingwen was worried 3 years ago. Qingwen was besieged. TSE couldn't save her then and had carried that guilt ever since. In TSE's mind, this guy traveled 20 kilometers of mountain paths back and forth in under an hour. He's definitely not ordinary. Maybe even a little strange. Then Lu took his stance and said, "Let's begin." Lu Di bowed with both hands, signaling respect. TZ clenched the air in his hands, as if compressing it. Qingwen warned, "Be gentle, don't hurt him." TZ nodded. "I've completed 136 border missions, earned first and second class merits each once. May I ask, Mr. Lu, where do you come from?" Lu Di thought silently. A soldier devoted to his country, truly a war king. Then he said, "I'm just a humble citizen, barely scratched the surface with Demon Heaven's hammer training." TSE tensed every muscle. "If you won't tell the truth, then let's settle this with our fists." In a flash, he lunged forward. His two fists struck like phantoms while Lu Di dodged continuously. Suddenly, Motong said, "You humans have a term, an invisible magnetic field of momentum. This field adds psychological pressure to your opponent." Lu Di slipped on his leg and instantly appeared behind TZ as he stood up. TZ was stunned by the terrifying speed. Meanwhile, their fists kept colliding non-stop. Motong explained, "New humans not only strengthen their bodies, but their magnetic fields too. I call this field Qianxi, summoned through momentum and fused subconsciously during battle." Suddenly, Lu Di's eyes snapped wide open. A strange purple aura appeared at the corner of his eyes, and the momentum from deep state seemed to materialize. TC was engulfed and trembling, thinking this Ludi must be from hell. He was likely from the monarch, an elite among war king-level troops. Then he bowed deeply and said he understood. Ludi rubbed his head. Got it, but no way, I'm not done today. Too many people here. Let's spar over there. TC suddenly realized, could Mr. Lu be here to guide me? TZ clasped his fists. Then TZ will risk his life to accompany the gentleman. Just then, Qingwen said, enough, TZ, stop it now. TZ's expression darkened slightly. Does Miss Third really think I'm willing? Fierce fighting sounds erupted inside the room, while Jingxing said, with those sounds, can Ludi even walk out standing? What they didn't know was that the duel between Ludi and TC was completely one-sided. Moreover, Ludi kept pointing out the weak points of TZ's chicken fist. Suddenly, Ludi said, no wonder you're a warrior from the Eastern Divine Sword, truly worthy of your reputation. That sentence shocked TSE. How could he know about the Eastern Divine Sword? It's the highest level SSS fund in Wuxia. Ludi knew about Wuxia's ultimate realm, and only two people knew of its existence. One, the Wuxia 3-star general, and the other, a mysterious god among gods. TSE thought, could Ludi be that mysterious person? Then he said, I was worried about you before. How could mighty Tian Luo let a few petty thieves escape? And since Mr. Lu can mention the Eastern Divine Sword, you must be a member. The Eastern Sword split into king and emperor. Tian Luo ancestor must be Mr. Lu's old unit. Then TC bowed deeply. He really had no idea who he was dealing with. Ludi said, what do you mean by a few petty thieves? TSE explained, the underworld is offering 5 million for your head. Ludi thought to himself, in these past 20 years, I've never made an enemy except for two people in the Yan family. One was Ouyang Fengyu, who saw me as a threat to his power grab, and the other was Dahai, whom I forced into signing a contract. TZ said, our Tai family brothers do pack some muscle. Need me to send Tai Lu and the others to handle it for you? Ludi decisively refused. Where did that 5 million bounty you mentioned come from? TEC replied, that's word on the street in the underworld, posted by Haishi, the underground crime boss of Haishi. Ludi realized then so Ouyang Fengyu was actually the one Lian she cared about. Just as Ludi was about to leave, TEC called out, my old mentor, Heishan, just arrived from Hanxi. He was promoted to the Tianluo clan 2 years ago. If he knows you're here, he'll be thrilled. Ludi said, that suits me perfectly. TEZ, please give me a heads up. But if that's the case, how do I explain these crazy powers I have? Suddenly, Qingwen charged up. Ludi, are you okay? Ludi smirked and said, I'm telling you, this delicate woman, it's not appropriate to act like this in public. Qingwen was a bit stunned, while Ludi had already turned and walked away. Qingwen then asked TSE, what exactly happened in there? TSE said, I got completely beaten by Lu Dai. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, with Mr. Lu watching over you, you can rest easy. Cut to Ludi entering a room, where he accidentally spots Jingxin's live stream only about 200 meters away. Curious, Ludi clicks into the room. Judging by Xinxin's expression, her mood was as joyful as a song. From one message, the whole live stream exploded. Many viewers quickly left, wiping cold sweat from their brows. I just clicked in on a whim, never expected such a huge reaction. After Xinxin ended the stream, Kai pressed on, spill it, how do you know first? Xinxin said, I've said it 800 times, I really don't know him. At that moment, a call came through from teacher Xinxin, who told second sister, how exactly do you know first? Xinxin was on the verge of tears. I've said it 801 times, I really don't know this. First, second sister said, I have a new movie, and I want to invite First to duet the promo song with me. This is on you. Xinxin collapsed to the floor. Where am I supposed to get First contact info? Just by standing inside the company, Ludi's looks attracted countless female employees, which actually irritated Ludi. Motong said, Aura not only releases an atmosphere but also radiates attraction, what you humans call charm. Ludi smiled faintly. Motong, look up information on Haihu for me. Motong replied, Haihu's real name is Qin Yaoan, currently the top crime boss in Haishi. Tomorrow he's a Chamber of Commerce president and secretly runs the underground casino. Ludi thought, this guy's impressive multiple boss identities and industries. A shame he took my job. If you want to play, then I'll play with you. Cut to Haihu's side. A henchman burst in. Boss, something strange happened. Just an hour ago, our shipment was inspected, and the fishing boat delivering it was stopped by the Coast Guard. The weirdest part, at first, we thought it was that place, but during our check, we got a call. The man on the line told us to stop looking. We don't have that place. Haihu was a little shocked. Looks like we've got a formidable enemy this time. Suddenly, your dad's call came in, and the henchman said, Boss, Look, it's this guy calling. Fei Hu said, "Who the hell are you? When I find you, I'll make sure you regret it." Then he smashed the phone to pieces. A woman nearby stepped forward and said, "Why not try tracing that call?" Fei Hu immediately set to work. Find the strongest hacker on the street, no matter the cost, track him down. Soon after, a call came in. "We've located the position." Fei Hu clenched his teeth. "Send me 30 men. We must capture this kid and bring him to me." Just as he was about to follow up, your dad's call rang again. Fei Hu thought, "This is my new phone and number. How did he find me so fast?" From the other end, Liu Di said, "You better send some experts over. Your men are way too fragile." Cut back to 20 minutes earlier, Liu Di had rented out the entire internet cafe, then opened all the doors. The million-yuan boss eagerly fawned over him. The boss thought, "Who's this rich heir? Are we really going to do this like some old-school gang challenge?" In the next moment, in just 1 minute, Liu Di was surrounded neatly by 30 men. The 30 men didn't say a word. They charged straight at Liu Di. And in Liu Di's mind, there was only one thought. They're going to give me a good time. Then a cigarette butt flew out, and Liu Di landed a flying kick, knocking one man down. Next came his strange movements, combined with terrifying strength, weaving through the crowd relentlessly. 5 minutes later, Liu Di declared, "Tell your boss, Black Tiger, I didn't enjoy this at all. I'm going to find him myself now. There's no other way. I have to go in person." Meanwhile, news arrived from Black Hugh's side. The 100 men we sent were all wiped out. Black Hugh suddenly grew uneasy. To wipe out 100 of his men, the enemy had to number at least 200. A subordinate said, "There's only one man, but his strength is unreal. Even the gang boss is stunned. Is this guy some kind of monster? I'm going to find the elite brother right now. I refuse to believe that nobody can take down a single man." Then, in the next second, the villa's front gate exploded. Liu Di came alone to the biggest gang organization, and in the eyes of the gang boss, Black Fox, it was like stepping into a huge battlefield. One man, holding a spear, stood atop a pile of bodies. Just a turn and a glance from him, Black Fox trembled uncontrollably. He couldn't believe it. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Before him stood only a boy about 20 years old. A subordinate whispered, "Boss, did you just see that strange scene?" I nearly dropped to my knees. Black Fox said nothing but broke out in a cold sweat. Liu Di said, "Tell me, does it make sense that someone like me, a harmless youth, is wanted on the black market with a 5 million bounty on my head?" "Boss Black Fox, tell me, is there any justice left?" Black Fox was a bit afraid of this big brother. "I do run gang business, but maybe there's a misunderstanding between us." Suddenly Liu Di said, "This isn't your place to speak. I'm asking Black Fox." A subordinate was confused. "The man in front of you is our boss." Liu Di said coolly, "No wonder you're the Black family's underground boss, but I'll give you 10 seconds to admit your mistake." The man was shocked. Then the sound of high heels came. The subordinate thought, "Isn't that Ruo, the personal attendant? Why did she become Black Fox?" The woman bowed deeply in apology. "Black Fox admits her mistake to you, sir." Liu Di put his hands on his hips. "I have all your information, including your true identity, Miss Black Fox." Miss Black Fox was stunned. "What does this man want, and how does he know my identity?" She hurriedly said, "We can cancel the hit order immediately and bring the employer before you. Please spare Ru's life." Liu Di said, "If I want to find the mastermind, no one can stop me, but I don't see your sincerity." Miss Black Fox stepped forward. "If Mr. Ruo doesn't mind the Black Fox gang serving you as a trial, we only ask you not to expose my identity." Liu Di turned and asked, "Do you know who put the 5 million bounty on Liu Di's head?" Miss Black Fox thought the name sounded familiar, then said directly, "His name is Zhao Gang. He's a vice president at Yinji Group." Liu Di said, "Shouldn't it be Ouyang Fengyu?" Suddenly a kid reminded him. "He's one of the father-son pair, one of those involved in arranging the death curse." Liu Di smirked wickedly. "Did you also get a mission to kidnap Yan Qingwen?" "The mission to kidnap Yan Qingwen." Miss Black Fox nodded. She had just received the message from Zhao Gang. Liu Di said coolly, "Looks like Ouyang Fengyu isn't stupid. He knows how to use others as pawns." Then he added, "Spread the word. Collect Zhao Gang's teeth, 1 million each." Miss Black Fox was surprised. "That's easy, sir, but what do you want his teeth for?" Liu Di said, "That's none of your concern. My demand is 1 tooth per day." Miss Black Fox bowed deeply. "Whatever you ask, the Black Fox gang will fulfill. Also, would you like to meet some of our gang's branch leaders?" Liu Di said, "No need. The Black Fox gang's boss can always be you or that puppet. From now on, you can call me by my artist name." Next, Liu Di took control of the largest gang in the Hai family, becoming the underground mastermind. Then Liu Di walked onto the street and suddenly heard a cry for help. 2 girls were running frantically. 2 others were about to catch them. Looking closer, it was the 2 happy sisters. Liu Di shook his head helplessly. Why is it just the two of them? Did they get into trouble again? I must have owed the Qingwen family a debt in my past life. Then they walked straight ahead, quickly reaching behind the two, with Haishi curled up happily in the corner. It turned out they lost 6 million at the casino and now had no money left on them, trying to skip out on the debt. Just now, they discovered Lu Di's 5 million. They had planned to have a wild time at the casino, but kept losing money. By the time the two sisters realized, it was already too late. The blonde said, "You can ask your family for the 1 million you owe me. You rich girls don't even care about tens of millions. If you don't pay, I can take you two as collateral. I've never tasted what twin beauties feel like." Haishi grabbed Xing's arm. "Let's go home. We'll pay you back once we have the money. For now, we have to leave." Suddenly, a few henchmen blocked their way. "Do you think this is a marketplace? Just walk away whenever you want? You have 5 minutes. If you can't pay, I'll drag you to a room and settle this on the spot." Lu Di stepped forward and said, "I thought it was something serious, but it's just a few million. Though these two girls are a bit annoying, I can't just watch you abuse them." Nearby, Kai suddenly saw hope. "Lu Di, quickly call my third sister and borrow 1 million. When the time comes, I'll return 100,000 inches interest." Lu Di thought to himself, "These two spoiled girls if I don't teach them a." Then he said, "I won't help pay your debt, but I don't mind making a bet with you." Suddenly, Motong said, "This guy is Ren Boyuan. His father is on the Hai family's rich list, worth nearly 10 billion. Hearing Lu Di, the blonde seemed even more excited. "Then tell me how you want to play." Lu Di thought, this guy doesn't care about this 1 million at all. Today's bet is probably a trap he set for these two brats. Then he waved his hand. "Let's keep the current hand on the table." The scene returned to the card table. Lu Di said, "Blonde kid, you bet 3 million, right? I'm raising it to 5 million. Kai was a bit angry. "Lu Di, you won't pay, yet you're blocking us? Do you want us dead?" The blonde sneered. "Interesting. I already bribed the dealer here. Your hand can't beat mine." Then he raised the stakes. Lu Di bet 6 million, and Lu Di raised a finger. 1 billion. "Dare to match me?" The blonde said, "I almost got fooled. You think 1 billion is just 1 billion? I want to verify your funds. Call the casino manager now." 10 minutes later, he brought a black diamond VIP card. "Mr. Lu's fund verification is complete." Kai was stunned, speechless, while the blonde looked doubtful. After the manager's confirmation, even he was a bit nervous. Today, he really met a tough opponent. "All I have is just 1 billion. Haishi was baffled. She had even investigated Lu Di before. According to the investigation, his family was just an ordinary household. The blonde then dialed around, borrowing from relatives everywhere. Then he slammed the phone down on the table. "This time, I'm betting 10 billion. Lu Di actually raised a 1 billion bet. The blonde gathered relatives and raised 10 billion. The room instantly fell silent. Lu Di raised a finger. "I'm raising 100 billion, but I'm not revealing my cards yet." The blonde thought, so what if it's a straight flush? No matter how high the bet, he still had no right to see the cards. He grabbed the face of his cards and shoved them into his mouth, saying, "I'm eating them today. You'll never know my hand." Then he pulled out his phone and started causing trouble right over Feng Ye's head. "My uncle will make sure you regret this." Lu Di snorted coldly. "Black Hue Gang, then I'm eager to see what you've got." But after a while, Lu Di, the third party, was surrounded. The two sisters immediately fell silent. Lu Di said, "What do we do now?" Then someone stepped forward and said, "Sorry, none of you can leave until Feng Ye arrives." Lu Di calmly said, "Oh, I'm so scared," then turned toward the sofa. "I'm a bit tired now. When your Feng Ye arrives, just call me." Haishi grew even more nervous. "We shouldn't have stolen your money to gamble. We haven't even had a relationship yet." Just as the words fell, the two sisters said their Feng Ye seemed to have arrived. An old man with a white beard approached, followed by a group of henchmen wearing sunglasses. The blonde said, "Uncle Tang, you finally came. Your nephew here has been bullied badly. The guy from before is over there." Feng Yi's face darkened instantly. "Today, I'm going to see exactly who dared mess with me. A Feng." The blonde immediately grew arrogant. "Damn it, everyone clear the way." Happily, Haishi grabbed Lu Di's sleeve. The Blackbeard gang had already arrived. "You better wake up already." At the same time, the blonde pointed at Liu Di's cousin, that kid right there. Lu Di said nothing, still lying quietly. But Feng Ye's expression suddenly changed. He thought to himself, "Isn't that the second master?" The blonde still didn't realize how serious this was. "Xing, don't just stand there. Tell the brothers to take him down now." Seeing his cousin stay silent, the blonde panicked. "Just kill them all, now. If anything happens to my cousin, I'll take full responsibility. Just please get rid of him." Suddenly, Feng Ye slammed a heavy punch right into his face. The blonde cried out, clutching his pale cheek. "Xing, you hit the wrong guy." The ones bullying me are over there. But Feng Ye ignored him. Instead, he ordered his men to. The blonde, confused and blinded by the deception, could only shout helplessly, "Please don't hit my face." 10 minutes later, the blonde was beaten into a mess, looking like a pork head. Meanwhile, Feng Ye bowed deeply to Lu Di. The master has finished with him. At this moment, the two sisters didn't understand what was going on. But Lu Di stretched out his hand, signaling approval. "Then I'll be off." Feng Ye handed over a cigar, letting him know this kid lost to him. "You can come get it any time." Lu Di said nothing more, just exhaled deeply. Turning to Kaishin, he said, "Let's go first." Only after Lu Di left did Feng Ye's expression darken. The blonde wanted to chop Liu Di up and feed him to the dogs. Then he called his own men, but Tang Shu unexpectedly carried him away. Tang Shu also handed Lu Di a cigar. After Lu Di left, Feng Ye gave his nephew a sour look. "Why did you have to pick a fight with him? He's the undisputed kingpin behind the entire Haishi underworld." Meanwhile, police arrived downstairs to meet them. Lu Di turned and said, "Let's head back." The two sisters didn't know what to do. Then in unison they said, "We shouldn't have used the 5 million father gave you for gambling, and we really thank Lu Di today. He didn't treat this like a big deal. That 5 million was really money from your enemies. I just don't want to see your family torn apart." In an instant, the atmosphere softened. Kaishin said, "Why do you talk like that?" They also wondered, "Why are those gangsters so afraid?" Lu Di whispered, "That's just a friend of mine. A friend you only know after a fight." The sisters sighed, "Forget it, don't make things up." Suddenly, Qingwen's call came in, voice urgent on the other end. "Lu Di, where are you running off to?" "It's almost quitting time, aren't you coming back to the company?" "Where are you running off to?" "It's almost quitting time, aren't you coming back?" Lu Di turned and said, "Let's go. Your third sister told me back to the company." The scene shifted. Lu Di met Qianqian. Qianqian said, "Mr. Wen couldn't find a driver just now, so you're punished. You have to go on a date with me tonight." Lu Di pointed at Qianqian's head, saying, "Date my foot." 5 words. In dreams, anything's possible. Then he pushed open Qingwen's office door. Inside, the office was unusually quiet. Qingwen seemed to be cleaning something. Lu Di said, "Miss Yan, did you just go out to save a life?" Qingwen looked calm. "I just went to Toya's place, helped him with a few surgeries." Lu Di thought, Qingwen's not bad after all, a kind-hearted girl. Qingwen pulled out several thick lists. "These are the medical supplies I plan to personally donate to Toya's hospital." Lu Di said, "You're going about it the wrong way. Next time, bring him some wine, maybe he'll even adopt you as a goddaughter." Qingwen smiled strangely. "Is Toya a little old man who loves his wine? I have to remember that." Then she grabbed her bag off the table. "Come with me to the bank first." Lu Di was puzzled. "What for?" Qingwen turned and said, "Isn't that obvious? To withdraw money, of course." What they didn't know was that the bank officially closed in 10 minutes. After civilians left, the soldiers were preparing to start their drill. A middle-aged man said, "That old Duan Hua still wants to spar with my men, and even came up with a dumb idea to simulate a bank robbery." A disciple nearby firmly said, "The soldiers under Duan Hua are no match at all against our team." The middle-aged man grew more determined. "Don't say I'm disrespecting him this time, he only brought a few rookies." Another man thought, "They're not rookies at all, these are top experts from teams across the country." The middle-aged man was none other than Heshin, the chief instructor of Tianluo, and the younger brother beside him is Bear, captain of Team A. Heshin reported to the instructor, "All 6 rookies have arrived." Heshin crossed his arms, "Now we just wait and watch the show." Meanwhile, Lu Di also arrived at the bank. Lu Di and Qingwen arrived at the bank, unaware that a bank robbery drill was underway. Suddenly, Motong said, "According to my prediction, an incident will occur at this bank in 5 minutes. What's important is, those people ahead aren't ordinary, they've been watching the surroundings closely. And based on my analysis, there's a 69% chance they're armed with pistols at their waists, and the background info on 6 of them is completely blank." Lu Di crossed his arms. "Can't I just have a peaceful day for once?" Suddenly, Qingwen pulled out a wad of cash and said, "There's no one else here now. Take it and use it." Lu Di sighed softly. "I can't believe you still remember I'm your benefactor." Then he frowned. "Forget the money. Just go buy a pack of smokes for your benefactor." Qingwen was momentarily speechless at Lu Di's sudden gentleness, then turned his head and said, "I'll beat you to death sooner or later." Taking advantage of Qingwen's departure, Lu Di walked toward the rest area and approached a blonde guy, greeting him with a mischievous smile. At the same time, the blonde guy smiled politely and responded courteously. Lu Di leaned in and said, "Brother, the weather's really nice today. Are you here to rob the bank?" The blonde guy nodded. The weather was indeed nice, but the next second he stood up abruptly saying, "What exactly are you talking about?" At that moment, Lu Di swung his fist and said, "Sorry, but I want to cut in line for the bank robbery. His fist smashed straight into the blonde guy's chin, shattering his teeth. The blonde guy collapsed, unconscious. In the monitoring room, Haitian grew uneasy and asked, "What exactly is going on?" Beside him, Grizzly replied, reporting to the instructor. The drill had started earlier than planned, but seeing Lu Di charging in like a fierce tiger, they had no time to think. Whether it was tactics or special ops grappling, Lu Di easily countered every move. Whether it was tactics or special combat grappling, all were easily neutralized by Lu Di. The last two looked panicked. A man dressed in black said, "Let's go together." But before they could react, Lu Di appeared right in front of them, and with a single push, both fell to the ground, unable to rise. Lu Di suddenly appeared before them. With just one push, the two instantly fell to the ground. Feishan showed an incredulous expression. What exactly is this kid's strength? Bear was stunned too. This has to be a joke. Haitian waved his hand. Bear, capture this guy alive. Bear raised his hand in acknowledgement, then jumped off the recon vehicle, launching himself like an arrow from a bow. Inside the bank, Lu Di sighed. I have to admit, your strength as robbers is impressive. Too bad you didn't choose the right path. Suddenly, Bear appeared, interrupting him. A faint aura seemed to radiate from Bear. Lu Di thought, this guy's aura isn't bad. Lu Di said, looks like I'll have to take this punch seriously. Bear launched himself from the spot, creating a small crater on the ground. The next second, Lu Di's fist slammed hard into Bear's abdomen, sending him flying dozens of meters before he finally stopped. Bear still couldn't believe when Lu Di had thrown that punch. Meanwhile, Haitian was shocked by Lu Di's blow. This kid just keeps getting more ridiculous. At that moment, Qingwen's sister said, did you buy the smokes? What just happened here? Lu Di didn't explain much. This bank was just robbed. A handsome young man took down the robbers in no time, then Qingwen left. Meanwhile, amid the rubble, Bear covered his chest and crawled out. Don't make me bring him next time, or you'll regret it. The robber was subdued, and then Qingwen left right away. At that moment, in the ruins, Manhwa, who came with Jingge, said, Old He bragged to me about how tough your soldiers are, but I never expected civilians under my command to knock them down. Hessian cursed, Old Ghost, shut up, this was a damn accident. Duanhua said, you're just nervous. Civilians in our coastal city are brave, but our SWAT team is even fiercer. Never thought I'd be taken down by a civilian under my watch. Hessian cursed, Old Ghost, shut up, this was pure accident. Duanhua said, you're just nervous. Our coastal city civilians are brave, but our SWAT team is even fiercer. The scene cut to the control room, where several people stared intently at the screen. This guy's physical strength and reaction speed are absolutely above S rank. Instructor Haitian turned to Gray Bear. You have 12 hours to find this guy. Gray Bear was puzzled. Is the instructor trying to recruit him? Haitian immediately grew serious. He's not only qualified to enlist, it's even possible he could take over my job. More importantly, with him, that plan can finally move forward. Suddenly, Duanhua placed a hand on Haitian's shoulder. Since we've come all the way to Haishi, let me be a good host today. Haitian slapped his hand away. This isn't over between us. No drinks or anything like that. Duanhua instantly looked a bit downcast. If you don't want to drink, fine. Why the attitude? Then he beckoned to the director nearby. Director, son, I'll give you 10 hours to find the kid in the footage. I want him to become the war god of my SWAT team. Haitian's old tricks won't work in my jurisdiction. Not a chance. The screen cut to Lu Di. Motong reminded Lu Di, you're already famous now. Lu Di turned his head and asked, what's going on? Motong said, just now at least 4 computer terminals. We are comparing all the information about your fight at the bank. Lu Di's eyes grew firm. Now that this matter is over, then I can't afford to be too reckless. Motong nodded. Understood. I'll handle it immediately. Meanwhile, Haitian and Grizzly were running a facial recognition match, but suddenly the computer shut down. Although he called the tech team quickly, all data related to the location was lost. At the same time, Duanhua was still admiring a photo of Lu Di when he suddenly cursed, the national treasure Lu Di, catching the attention of Waxia's Tian Luo Zuo. But in just seconds, all video records about him were wiped clean. Meanwhile, at a villa, another matter reached Haishi's richest man. On the Yinji Group's sales leaderboard, Qingwen and Lu Di tied for first place. Follow Manhwa Archive to stay updated on overpowered Manhwa drops. Sales reached as high as 2 billion. Butler A. Fu said, has the third young lady been outstanding lately? Yan Hongshin smiled faintly. I know her work strength well as her father. Then she stood up. Afu, what do you think about Lu Di's situation? Afu replied, the key point here is Mr. Lu Di. Mr. Lu Di is a great genius, and he's only just starting to show his edge. Yan Hongshin sighed, I'm getting old now. And no matter what I do for the Yan family, it probably won't compare to that Liang Tai. But this Lu Dai, he's a once-in-a-millennium Liang Tai and a major figure at that. Afu said, from what I see, Mr. Lu Di doesn't seem very interested in our Yan family. Yan Hongshin frowned. I know that. Talented people tend to be a bit arrogant. I have my ways to make him focus, then have Lu Di truly take hold of the Yan family. Afu, go handle two things for me. First, send a message to the family company, hand over the medical equipment project entirely to Wen Wen. Afu was clearly surprised. This project is a major focus for our group, and Third Miss has only worked 3 years. Isn't that risky? Yan Hongshin stroked her beard. I'm not relying entirely on Wen Wen. I'm placing my bet fully on Lu Di. Afu said, I understand now, and I believe Mr. Liu won't disappoint you. Yan Hongshin laughed. Luckily, my daughter is outstanding, and she's managed to captivate that brat Lu Di. Afu asked, Sir, what's the second thing you want me to do? Suddenly, Yan Hongshin's expression turned serious. In 5 days, I'll return to Haishi and hold a family banquet at the Yan estate. 2 sons of old friends will be coming back from overseas. These young people can gather and exchange ideas. Plus, a close friend of mine will be in Haishi on official business. He's a major military figure now. Afu said, Sir, you mean General Haishan? Yan Hongshin nodded. Exactly. This time, I'm creating a platform for these young people, and I'm inviting Duan Hua too. He and Haishan have been old friends for years. Lu Di had caught the attention of Haishi's richest man because Yan Hongshin and the butler agreed their third daughter had him hooked. Meanwhile, inside the Yan family estate, Lu Di and Qingwen just stepped into the main hall, where the air was thick with the smell of something burning. They followed the scent to the kitchen, which was filled with smoke and chaos, like a battlefield that made it hard to even open their eyes. They saw Kaishan sweating profusely, standing in the kitchen with a plate upside down on the table. Qingwen frowned and asked, What are you two messing around with? Kaishan said, We spent 2 hours making dinner for Lu Dai. Qingwen pointed at Kaishan, full of question marks. You actually made dinner for Lu Di? The 2 girls nodded together. We did wrong before and must apologize to Lu Di. To show sincerity, Lu Di, filled with countless question marks, lifted the lid. Yet he couldn't help but ask, What is this? Hearing this, Kai burst out laughing. This is the golden egg fried rice I learned from you, just a bit off on the heat. Lu Di stared quietly at the egg fried rice. It seemed as if the Grim Reaper himself was calling to him. Seeing Lu Di hesitate, the 2 sisters said, We really gave it our all making this egg fried rice. Just bear with us and take a bite. Suddenly, a system alert popped up. Detected, this dish is one of the world's most carcinogenic poisons. Confused, Lu Di was at a loss. Then he turned away and said, Enough, I've forgiven you. You're off the hook for this egg fried rice. Kai beamed like she'd just been validated. We knew you were a good person, Lu Dai. But the next second, both sisters looked toward Qingwen. We knew it, Lu Di, you're a good man. Yet in the next second, the 2 looked toward Qingwen. Kai pulled out that golden card from before. This is the card father gave to Lu Di. Came to find me? Happy pulled out the earlier gold card. This is the card father gave to Lu Di. Qingwen held the golden card, her mind racing. If Lu Di didn't have the card, where did all that money come from? If it's not about the money, could it really be about me? She shook her head. What am I even thinking? That's impossible. Suddenly, Kai said, Actually, Lu Di is very rich. That stunned Qingwen. What do you mean rich? How rich? How rich can a driver be? Kai held up a finger, suggesting Lu Di might have 1 billion. 2 billion, Qingwen asked, puzzled. Could he possibly have over 10 billion? Kai shook her head. I feel like he has at least 10 billion. Exactly how much? I don't know. Qingwen couldn't believe it either. Their own driver has 10 billion? That's already on the billionaire list. Impossible. She then turned around and asked, How do you 2 even know this? The sisters hesitated. We actually saw it at the casino. He bet 10 billion all at once. Qingwen was more confused than ever. If he's that rich, what does he really want from our family? Kai asked, looking at their puzzled third sister. Lu Di definitely isn't a bad guy. When father comes back, we'll tell him everything. Qingwen suddenly grew serious. For everyone's safety, we have to get to the bottom of this. For now, let's pretend nothing happened. Don't blow our cover. Kaishi nodded. We understand. Don't expose it. Happy nodded. We understand. Lu Di said, Ladies, whispering is tiring. Come try the egg fried rice I made. Kaishan leaned in, took a bite, and said, Why does this taste a little different this time? Inside, Qingwen's heart still churned. Was Lu Di good or bad? But she couldn't resist the lure of good food. The moment the egg fried rice touched her tongue, she questioned her entire life. I've never tasted egg fried rice this delicious. Yet there was a faint bitterness, Lu Di explained. I specially used a different seasoning ginkgo seeds. Ginkgo is bitter, but it detoxifies. He clenched his fist. I made this ginkgo egg fried rice to help clear your internal heat. Qingwen instantly frowned. Lu Di, how dare you eavesdrop on our conversation? Lu Di replied, I did hear it, but I wasn't eavesdropping. I hope you won't misunderstand me anymore. Then he turned away. But I'm a man of my word. Once I settle this, rest assured, I won't linger here a moment longer. The next second, he turned and left. Qingwen watched his retreating figure. It seems this man has really changed. Maybe I was wrong about him. Lu Di slowly stopped walking. But don't worry, I'm broad-minded. As a man, I won't hold grudges against you. I'm still broad-minded. As a man, I won't hold this against you. How much money can a 20-year-old really have? The first 100 people to answer his questions correctly each receive 500,000. Just now, Qingwen learned that Lu Di's net worth is at least tens of billions, and she couldn't calm down for a long time. Meanwhile, Lu Di calmly returned to his room and then looked at Motong, saying, Everything is ready now. Our plan should begin. Suddenly, a system alert appeared. Top-tier marketing strategies integrating 100,000 business models compiling. At the same time, Lu Di opened his social media account. The once blazing hot trending topic had cooled down just enough perfect timing. Then he ordered Motong to start posting. The moment the post signed third went live, it sparked an uproar. Because if this post was real, it meant nearly 50 million would be spent. Surely, the owner of this account wasn't even in the Huaxia territory. Many said, let it go, this is probably some prank. Meanwhile, a blonde girl kept typing furiously at her keyboard, then pushed up her glasses. Isn't the author mentioned by Third the foreign mathematician who invented the title? She directly messaged the answer to Lu Di. But human nature can't stand others doing well, netizens said. Whether right or not, this clearly looks like a joke. Then a message pinged on the phone next to the girl. Third congratulates you on being the first to answer correctly. Your card has been credited with 500,000 yuan. The girl froze in shock. Mom, it's actually real. My college tuition is covered. Lu Di then pinned the message. The first winner has emerged. There are still 99 spots left. Others chimed in. People actually get paid for answering questions. I wouldn't believe it for anything. Lu Di smirked. Keep arguing, go ahead. The more noise, the better. Moments later, Motong recorded all the information. Then, the rewards for 100 people were sent out. Participants, please check your accounts. Someone laughed aloud. I seriously love Third. Others hovered anxiously. Some nearly fainted in the restroom, having just missed out on 500,000. This man had just spent 50 million, yet he wasn't satisfied. He immediately ordered Motong to prepare the second question. Another post from Third went live. Do you believe there's another you in the world? Correct answers win 100 million. Even the locals were stunned. Third was back with another question, and the prize was 100 million. Another netizen was confused. What's his game? Is he trying to create a world-class puzzle? Meanwhile, 3 trending topics soared as the mysterious user pushed out the $100 million question. He was the riddle master who appeared after Jige, the divine emperor. Even at 5 a.m., the whole company was hunting for the answer. Suddenly, a woman said, I got it. It's actually a coordinate. There's a place very close to the clue. She quickly entered the answer, and Lu Di pinned a message. Congratulations to teacher He for cracking the second riddle. The answer was Gemini. Even the spinning fan couldn't believe someone got it right. A white cup looked puzzled. Why is Gemini the answer? Lu Di just smiled silently. Until dawn the next day, Lu Di sat quietly by his computer, waiting until 8 a.m. He said to the Motong in his right eye, it's about time to get to the main event. Then the third post appeared. This third riddle offered no prize, only a chance to find a soulmate in life. The indestructible cockroach was back. This really struck a chord with me, some said. Others praised the post's poetic feel, but the QR code came next. Some brave netizens said, I don't care, I'm scanning first. After scanning, the screen displayed, would you like to download? The Gemini man clicked download without hesitation, but what puzzled him was, the download speed was unbelievably fast. Then a page popped up, please enter your nickname. The system confirmed registration. Gemini was analyzing your signal as the progress bar raced forward. This man's right eye was a remarkable Motong. Motong's abilities had far surpassed what anyone could imagine. Just moments ago, after downloading the software, as the Gemini system began to grow, the man found it absurd. Because he hadn't entered any info, yet the system had already generated everything. Motong prompted, personality analysis complete. Though you appear confident outwardly, inside you're restless and anxious. The man nearly dropped his noodles. This system is speaking the truth. Is this really possible? The system announced, user pairing successful. A spark ignited between the two little figures on the screen, and the man instantly lit up with excitement, his mind urging him on. I have to meet him today. In just 10 short minutes, it had already reached 100 million downloads and 50 million registered users, because Motong not only analyzes individuals but also hits the mark with comparisons. Someone said he'd lived 25 years and never thought anyone could share his taste. At this moment, Ludi shoved both hands in Ludi, all thanks to Motong's precise matching, which also keeps Gemini incredibly pure. Meanwhile, some hackers were stunned. This third version, overnight, cost only 150 million, yet it brought the software unimaginable exposure. The scene shifts to a corporate meeting, where a blonde man asks, "What exactly is this Gemini all about?" A subordinate steps forward and replies, "It's an app developed and launched by a tech company called The Creator." The blonde man sneers. Can a newly registered company really have that kind of power? Meanwhile, the subordinate quickly calculates Gemini's impact after launch. Our user base dropped by 4% instantly and it's still falling. The blonde man's expression darkens immediately. I've never heard of a 4% drop overnight. Copy their tech for me right now. The subordinate can hardly believe it. We've completed testing, but our tech team isn't up to that level yet. The blonde man fumes, "You're a bunch of useless hacks. A top internet platform can't even handle a newly developed app." Meanwhile, Ludi sits quietly by his computer. He thinks to himself, since Gemini is already so explosive, we need at least one office location. It is a company after all. Motong says this is no problem. Do you have any requirements? Ludi's spirits instantly lift. The company must be high-end and grand, imposing enough to make people hesitate. Just how much cash does this man have in his pocket? Ludi orders Motong, "I want a company that's high-end and grand, one that makes people stop and stare." Motong nods and acknowledges the order, then two laser beams shoot from its eyes, scanning the entire city. On the tallest building in the city, the Rongtang Tower, there's a 6,500 square meter office. Ludi strokes his chin. "This building isn't bad at all. I'll take it." Motong adds, "I've also filtered through 100,000 resumes online and selected 300 employees with strong qualifications. All contracts are currently being signed. Renovations and approvals will be completed within 3 days." Ludi says, "I really owe this to you. Otherwise, I honestly couldn't have managed this alone. But what we need most are trustworthy people." The scene shifts to a mall where a clothing salesperson is tallying the store's income. Suddenly, their phone vibrates nonstop. The man says, "So it's you, Ludi. What made you think to call me?" Ludi's lips curl into a slight smile. "Do you remember our entrepreneurial dream? But before, we never really had the chance to spread our wings." Ajia sounds a little unsure. "That was just childish talk from back then. Don't take it too seriously." Ludi replies, "I've started a company now. Are you interested in helping me out?" Hearing this, Ajia can't stay calm. "Are you sure I'm up for it?" The voice on the other end says, "I believe in you, but my closest brother." Just then, an arrogant woman approaches Ajia and snaps, "Work's about to start. What are you spacing out here for this early?" Ajia's face darkens instantly. "Sun Lily, for 3 years you've never given me a single smile." Then he kicks the table over. "Starting today, I won't be at your service anymore. And Sun Lily, remember this, you don't get to call me Ajia. Call me by my proper title, Jiang Tianjia." Meanwhile, outside the enemy's villa, Ludi stands silently. Qingwen changes into a blue chipao, saying there's an important guest visiting today, so she must watch her words and behavior carefully. Ludi sighs deeply, knowing there's an important matter at 4 p.m. this afternoon. This man owns assets worth billions but is willing to work as a driver. Just now, Qingwen says, "There's an important guest visiting today. You must behave with dignity. And you probably won't have time to eat, so I brought you 30 steamed buns." Ludi casually picks one up. "Today, your attitude, something felt wrong. Showing kindness for no reason must surely mean evil intent." Qingwen said, "I know you can eat, so I specially brought 30 steamed buns to stuff you full." Ludi smirked mischievously. "I wonder if a man like me fits the image of a male idol in your women's hearts." Qingwen asked Ludi right away, "Where exactly did you get all this money?" Ludi didn't try to hide much. "I partnered with friends to start a company called Creator." Qingwen sighed helplessly. "Just the name alone sounds sketchy. If you need help, you can tell me. You really don't have to keep pretending to be strong." Ludi's lips curled into a sly smile. "If you put it that way, I do actually have a few secrets to tell you." Qingwen's expression shifted. "You have secrets?" Ludi leaned in close. "Actually, I sing really well. Want me to sing for you?" Qingwen smiled lightly, saying nothing more. "For now, just focus on driving." The scene shifted to the headquarters of Yinji Group, where Ludi's looks were even more striking, seemingly able to attract every woman. Meanwhile, Ludi sat quietly at the table. Today's setup is so grand. Who exactly is this distinguished guest? Suddenly, Ouyang Fengyu tried to open the door with Vice President Zhao Zi close behind. Liu Di thought, the Black Fox's bounty really packs a punch. Zhao Zi gritted his teeth in anger, but these two fools definitely weren't. Qingwen wanted to wait, while Ouyang Fengyu looked puzzled. Why are the 3 vases Vice President Zhao gave you missing? Qingwen smiled awkwardly. The vases were accidentally broken. Ouyang Fengyu immediately became excited. Who broke such valuable vases? Upon hearing this, Yingjing was a bit angry. Wasn't it that Ludi guy? His first day in the office, and he smashed all 3 vases. This man broke vases worth 3 million. Yet he didn't panic at all. Qingwen looked a bit angry. It was Liu Di's first time in the office. 3 vases were broken by him. Ouyang Fengyu clenched his jaw tightly. This damned Liu Di was no ordinary man, and he broke the crucial spot of the dead curse vase worth 7 million. Everyone was present, so face had to be saved for him. Next time, we'll teach this brat a proper lesson. Qingwen was stunned for 3 seconds, not knowing what to say. She quickly changed the subject. When will today's VIP guest arrive? Ouyang Fengyu shook his head. Wait a little longer. Meanwhile, Liu Di said, Xianxian, come here for a moment. Brother has something to ask you. Xianxian twisted her body. Brother Liu Di, what do you want to ask? Go ahead. Liu Di was straightforward. With such a big setup in the company today, who exactly are we welcoming? Xianxian's eyes shifted. Do you know God of Songs #1? He's coming to our company soon. Liu Di was a bit incredulous, thinking silently, aren't I the #1 local? So why is there a fake? Xianxian continued, that's not even the worst part. The scarier thing, Island. Last night, the chairman handed over the medical equipment project entirely to Wen Du, and Wen's old classmate. Started an entertainment company. By chance, God of Songs #1 is his artist and promised to help us promote. I heard Wen's classmate is also a hallway handsome and wealthy. I wish I had a classmate like that. Liu Di chuckled, saying nothing more. The scene switched to outside Yingji Group. 3 Maybachs screeched to a halt at the gate. A man stepped out first, followed closely by a seductive female secretary, and a dozen friends. The man glanced at the Yingji Group building, then around the surroundings, muttering, I've struggled overseas for 3 years. From now on, none of you can underestimate me. El Ziming then strode directly into the office where the others were. This man was the idol admired by all. But there were always some clueless fakes. The man entered the building. Ouyang Fengyu looked puzzled. Why did you come alone, El Ziming? Wasn't God of Songs #1 supposed to come with you? El Ziming said, as teacher #1, it's impossible for him to just attend casually. Then he sat down, speaking seriously. Today, I'll handle all communications. Ouyang Fengyu stepped forward. Teacher #1 naturally can't attend casually, or else our Yingji Group would be trampled on. El Ziming smiled. Teacher #1's influence is international now. Breaking through your group's threshold is inevitable. Ouyang Fengyu immediately changed expression. If teacher #1 could endorse our new product, sales will definitely be at an astonishing level. Liu Ziming turned his head and said, the first teacher signed under me because, at the same time, Ouyang Fengyu stepped closer. It's truly a great honor for us to cooperate with you, Brother Ziming, thanks to your generous and kind nature. The 300 million appearance fee you mentioned earlier is absolutely no problem. We can sign the contract right now, Liu Ziming stated. I'm only charging 300 million, and that's purely out of respect for Wenwen. Then he pounded the table. Since the price is settled, let's talk about the performance plan. Qingwen almost stumbled, but thankfully she stayed up all night preparing the plan. And in the next moment, Ouyang Fengyu pulled out a proposal. The full plan is ready. Brother Ziming, you check it first. Qingwen was a bit annoyed. Ouyang Fengyu said, we're family here. No need to split hairs about you or me. Qingwen threw the plan onto the table and then looked at Liu Ziming. You pick between these 2 proposals yourself. Liu Ziming casually touched the proposals. Ouyang Fengyu's show will be grand and spectacular, but Wenwen's charity gala feels more heartfelt. Wenwen quickly said, our product fits perfectly with a charity gala. I think that's the best choice. Ouyang Fengyu stayed silent, while Liu Ziming sighed, you can't even agree among yourselves, and that makes things difficult for me. How about Wenwen considers being my girlfriend? Remember, I chased you for 2 years, and if you agree to date me, I'll choose your performance plan. Wenwen was stunned. How impressive could a driver be? He wasn't just the shadow boss of the biggest crime syndicate, but also the legendary singer First, whom countless admired. Just now, Liu Ziming said if Wenwen agreed to date him, then the performance plan from Teacher First would be his choice. Qingwen was speechless, calculating the pros and cons at lightning speed. Then she stood up and snapped angrily, work is work. There's no way anything can happen between us. Liu Ziming replied, if that's the case, then I'll have to seriously consider these 2 plans. He stood up. As for when I decide, let's wait until the Yan family banquet. But if I reject your plan, won't old Master Yan be disappointed? Qingwen dared not speak when her father was mentioned, but Lu Ziming smirked slyly. Old Master Yan said, "You have a young man supporting you, but why haven't I seen him yet?" From a distance, Liu Di lit a lollipop, then waved toward the conference room. Lu Ziming shivered. Why does this guy make no sound when he walks? Are you a man or a ghost? Lu Di asked. Are you blind? Have you ever seen a ghost sucking on a lollipop? Lu Ziming's tone turned sharp instantly. What do you mean by that? Lu Di grinned wickedly. I'm the young talent old Master Yan mentioned. I'm a driver at Yingji Group. Lu Ziming chuckled. Just a driver? Yet you dare call me blind. Lu Di said, exactly, you're just an entertainment company registered 5 days ago. You say you signed first, but does that make him really first? Lu Ziming said nothing more, instead pulling out his phone. I knew many wouldn't believe me, but I have behind-the-scenes footage of Teacher First. The video showed a blonde man sitting sideways at a piano, playing a song identical to First's. The blonde man turned his head and said, Hello everyone, the cooperation is fully entrusted to Brother Zimin. Looking forward to meeting you. Suddenly, Motong warned, that blonde kid is just a third-rate music college student. Lu Di stared blankly at the video, forgetting to suck his lollipop, then said, I really admire Lu Zhu. How about we make a deal? Lu Ziming, having just played the video, grew even more arrogant. If you want an autograph or a photo, I can fulfill all of those. Lu Di crushed his lollipop and said, If this first is a fake, do you want me to break your left leg or your right leg? This man was incredible. His right eye held a mysterious Motong. Motong could analyze everyone's identity and boost its host's strength to human peak levels. Just now, Ziming asked someone to impersonate Lu Di's singer identity, but Motong had already seen through it all. Lu Di said, If he's a fake, should I break your left leg first or your right? Lu Ziming clenched his teeth tightly. You're just a driver, yet you dare slander me and speak disrespectfully to me. Suddenly, Ouyang Fenyu stepped forward and said, The video is right in front of you now, Brother Lu, so stop making a scene here. Qingwen quickly stepped in to smooth things over. The one performing is Lu Di, so don't worry about it. Didn't you say you were going to deliver some vitality to Lord Tuo? Brother Lu smiled. Well then, that works. I'll head out now. But I'm really looking forward to the concert you've arranged. With that, he walked away. The scene shifted to the outskirts, where Lord Tuo lounged on a sofa, leisurely drinking. Brother Lu said, I really envy Lord Tuo, always calm and collected no matter the time. Lord Tuo turned and chuckled, Isn't that our little brother Lu? Have you been having a hard time out there? Brother Lu scratched his head. No, just been a little foggy lately. Please, Lord Tuo, give me some guidance. I swirled my drink. You, Lord Tuo, now that I'm older, naturally calmer, but you young people should dare to fight and struggle. Hearing this, Brother Lu shook his head vigorously like a rattledrum. Lord Tuo grew serious. You once worked 3 jobs despite suffering from level 9 pain after effects. I saw the grit in your bones back then, and you still cared for the kids after coming back. At that moment, Brother Lu fell into thought. I want to tell you this, when you face a ruthless person, you have to be even tougher. But when it's time to run, you have to run even faster. Brother Lu scratched his ear, clearly still a bit confused. Lord Tuo set down his bottle and sneered. You're that bank youth the military's been hunting all over, aren't you? Brother Lu let out a mischievous chuckle. I say the same to you, now get lost if you're done here. I'm going to sleep. But as he left, Lord Tuo reminded Brother Lu, remember, the street dogs can be beaten, but never say a word that goes against your heart. Brother Lu turned, I already know what to do next. Just how powerful is this man? A dazzling purple light flashed from his right eye. Motong prompted, currently, Gemini has surpassed 400 million downloads. Brother Lu crossed his arms. Motong said, You're seriously impressive. A massive software company taken down by you in a single day, but Tong said that was just a breeze. I just updated a group chat feature with over 3,000 hobby categories, each with unlimited capacity. Lidu smiled, saying once these features stabilize, we'll definitely attract advertisers from all major fields. Many netizens have already said the new features in Gemini could easily outshine all forums. Some have even found countless like-minded friends on Gemini. The scene shifts to the headquarters of an internet company. The boss was extremely anxious inside. The secretaries had traced Gemini's parent company, registered under the name Third. Their company wasn't profitable yet and likely low on funds, making the boss ponder deeply. Though the company's finances were tight, their technology was profound. He then ordered his deputy. I'm giving you authority over 10 billion, now buy their technology immediately. Deputy Situ assured, Don't worry, Mr. Li. With me here, we'll nail this technology soon. Meanwhile, Lu Di and Ajia arrived downstairs. Ajia said, It hasn't been long. but you look much tougher now. Lu Di chuckled. I've been training lately, so naturally, I've improved. But you've regressed quite a bit. Ajia didn't say more, instead awestruck by the towering building before them. Your new company's located here, it must be expensive. Lu Di replied, it's manageable. Come with me and see for yourself. Before Ajia could respond, Lu Di headed straight inside. Nearly half a minute later, Ajia wondered in the elevator, why'd you pick such a high floor? Lu Di said nothing until they reached the top floor, then they stepped out of the elevator. But what happened next stunned Ajia. He couldn't believe that in just one day, the company already had 300 to 400 employees with fully furnished offices. A bead of cold sweat formed on Ajia's forehead. What kind of big shot can afford such an office? How fat is this man's wallet? In just one day, he built a company spanning over 6,000 square meters, leaving his good buddy Ajia dumbfounded. What kind of boss deserves such an office? Lidu said, Ajia, remember, our company focuses on instant internet communication. Just yesterday, the first version went live. Now, you just need to organize the team. There's also some daily maintenance and reception duties. As for money, that's not an issue at all. Ajia was half doubtful, but nodded. Are you serious? You're not joking with me, right? Lu Di turned his head and assured her. Of course not. Don't underestimate your brother. Our strength right now is pretty solid. Ajia grew even more puzzled. Aren't we a newly established company? How strong can we really be? Lu Di turned and said solemnly, with our current strength, we can reject any company trying to acquire us. Ajia smiled in response, brother, having entrepreneurial dreams is great, but bragging like that is your mistake. Lu Di didn't say more, but his mind was racing. If any other companies come knocking now, you'll be the one to deal with them. I won't step in unless absolutely necessary. Ajia grabbed Lu Di's shoulder. So you've learned to talk back now, huh? Then she placed her hands on her hips. Let's move into this office first, then talk. Suddenly, Lu Di pointed and said, you're the CEO of this company now, and I'm just the behind-the-scenes boss counting the money. Ajia asked, why bother with so many useless titles? After all, the CEO is just a brick you move me wherever I'm needed. Lu Di thought to himself, that's what a true brother is, sharing hardships and blessings together. The scene shifted to the rooftop, where Ajia was completely stunned. This rooftop was the highest point in the city. Planes flew so close it felt like they were right beside her. Ajia turned to Lu Di and said, Lu Di, are you hiding something shady from me? Don't make me worry. Lu Di said nothing, standing quietly by the railing. After a long pause, Lu Di sighed. Ajia, you're the one I trust most. No matter where I am, you've never looked down on me. Ajia replied, that's nonsense. The moment you called, I dropped everything and came running. Don't get all sentimental here. Honestly, are you running low on cash? I've got 150,000 saved up for you. But the next moment, Lu Di said, keep it for yourself. The company's plans and business details are already in your inbox. I guess that'll keep you busy for days. This man had a very charming trait. He was incredibly wealthy. Just now, he built an entire company in a single day, yet he didn't want to be the boss. Lu Di looked puzzled and sighed. You took me through almost 3 floors, so which one is our company's office? Lu Di gazed quietly into the distance. The whole building belongs to us, even this rooftop we're standing on. Confused, Lu Di was a bit stunned. That's 3 whole floors. What kind of company are you running? Lu Di put his hands in his pockets. Our company's called The Creator. So far, we've only launched one product called Gemini. Lu Di froze again, thinking, is Lu Di messing with me? This is the tallest rooftop in the city. Then Lu Di turned and said, Comrade Zhang Tianjia, since you're now the CEO of The Creator, a good horse deserves a good saddle, right? Lu Di scratched his head. You're right. I really should get a proper outfit. Lu Di waved his hand. I happen to have a spare villa and luxury car. I'll have them sent over to you. At this moment, Lu Di was fully convinced of Lu Di, because in Lu Di's eyes, the villa and luxury car were just idle assets. The two then walked down the building together. Scene shifted to the road where Qingwen was picked up. Qingwen said, Lu Di, stop the car first. Lu Di was puzzled. We're not home yet. Qingwen's expression grew serious. Father's banquet is in 4 days. All the big shots will be there. Father wants you to come with me. Mainly because your clothes are usually too casual, and at the banquet, many people judge others by appearance. He's worried you'll be looked down on. Then she looked out the window. This suit tailor is top-notch. I want to get you a suit. Lu Di said, I see. Thanks for thinking of me, but I really don't think it's necessary. Qingwen seemed a bit impatient. Can you stop being so difficult? I just want you to dress more formally. Lu Di turned and said, Miss Yan, thanks for your kindness, but the strong need no self-reflection. Meanwhile, Lu Di suddenly pressed the accelerator. Qingwen leaned forward. Lu Di, it's fine if you don't want clothes, but I hope you'll accept the gift I prepared for you. Lu Di didn't seem thrilled but looked curiously at the item in the box. Inside was a crystal-clear green pearl, beautifully encased in fine sandalwood. How much money does this man have in his wallet? To him, jewelry worth millions is as common as cabbages on the street. Lu Di stared quietly at the pearl, then turned and said, "This pearl clearly isn't cheap. But do you really think this pearl can buy me over?" Qingwen's expression gradually grew aggrieved. "Lu Di, your behavior has been strange lately. Are you feeling desperate about me?" Lu Di showed slight annoyance ahead. "Miss Yan, what are you talking about?" Qingwen was suddenly at a loss. "I know your eyes are about to close soon, but I hope you don't lose faith just like this pearl, which will never dull." A slow smile crept onto Lu Di's lips. So this woman wasn't always cold and ruthless. She had a gentle side after all. Then he said to just leave the things there. "You women really can be such a nuisance." The scene shifts to the day of the manor banquet. Yan Hongxin said to the butler, "The more I look at Lu Di, the more I like him. He's exactly like I was when I was young." Butler A Fu replied, "As for Lu Di, this young man, I feel he's a bit too reserved." Yan Hongxin sighed, "That's understandable. Luding hasn't seen a scene like this before, but I really hope he grows up quickly so he can single-handedly support the Yan family." Suddenly, Motong reported, "The Gemini downloads have surpassed 800 million, with 90% of users having found their interests. The retention rate for internal staff is also 90%. The company's operations are running smoothly." Lu Di smiled with relief. Motong really knows how to get things done. Everything was settled so quickly. Meanwhile, the names of San and Zhang Tianjia have already echoed across the internet. The creator was named the most promising company of the year, attracting attention from countless enterprises across Waxia. Lu Di said, "This is just the first step of a long journey, but it's only the beginning." Suddenly, a Hummer stopped in front of the manor. A blond man stepped out slowly, exuding an overwhelming aura and a top-tier status, immediately catching Yan Hongxin's eye. Lu Ziming and another man approached Yan Hongxin and stopped. Then Shi bowed and saluted him. Wu Yang Fengyu stepped forward and said, "Ziming and Tiansheng, you two kept us waiting." Suddenly, Yan Hongxin said, "Lu Dai, come over here for a moment. These two newcomers are sons of my old friends. You young people should get to know each other." Lu Di said nothing but clenched his fist tightly. How strong is this man really? A simple handshake just now actually fractured the other's bones. Lu Di attended the banquet with Qingwen's sister. Yan Hongxin first introduced the two sons of old friends, while Lu Di stood quietly beside them. Suddenly, Wu Yang Fengyu stepped forward and said, "Lu Di, let me introduce you. This man beside me is the CEO of an entertainment company. He represents the top singer in the industry. We're currently negotiating a new product collaboration." Then he leaned toward his wife and child, saying, "Today, I'm going to treat Brother Ziming well. You better seriously consider my proposal." A sly smile appeared on Ziming's lips. "Of course, your proposal is worth considering." The other man, named Tan Chung, is the founder of an international tourism company specializing in high-end custom services for clients. Yan Hongxin stroked his beard and said, "Things are looking up. Ziming and Tiansheng were classmates of Wenwen in college. They both once courted Wenwen." Tiansheng turned and said, "I'm ashamed. After Wenwen rejected me, I traveled the world. Who would have thought I discovered 12 secret travel routes, leading me to successfully start a company? I'm a completely different person now. Wenwen, why not give me another thought?" Qingwen's sister ignored him and pointed at Lu Di. Before she could finish, Tiancheng interrupted, "No need to introduce this guy, right? Isn't he Wenwen's benefactor, Lu Di? A freeloader with no background, dreaming of competing for Wenwen's favor. Do you think you're worthy?" Lu Di's face darkened, speechless. Tiancheng raised his hand and said, "We've got a long road ahead, Brother Liu. Let's take our time getting along." At the moment their hands crossed, a crisp sound of bones cracking could be heard. Tiancheng gritted his teeth, but dared not make a sound. Lu Di raised two fingers and said, "Sorry. I rarely shake hands with women." The sharp pain in his hand left Tiancheng speechless for a long moment. Wu Yang Fengyu quickly stepped forward to smooth things over. "Since Brother Tiancheng just arrived, let me show you around." Wu Yang Fengyu and LV Ziming helped Tiancheng as they walked into the manor. Yan Hongxing remarked, "Young people are young people. They meet and sparks fly right away." Lu Di smiled and said, "Old master, let me be honest with you. I don't think they're that bad." Yan Hongxing grew excited, as expected from my Yan family. "You just go all out. You have me backing you up. How arrogant is this man?" Meeting for the first time, he broke the other's finger. "Yet the richest man in the coastal city strongly supports me. Yan family members must be bold. Don't forget, you have me backing you." Meanwhile, inside the banquet hall, Wu Yang Fengyu said, "Brother Tiansheng, you were way too impulsive this time, losing your composure in front of old Master Yan. You all know what kind of person Lu Di Island If we want to get rid of him, the three of us must unite. The two looked puzzled. How do we unite? Then leaning forward slowly, Ouyang Fengyu said, according to tradition, he will speak soon, but we can't give him a chance to shine. Also, Brother Ziming, you'll announce you're choosing my plan. I'll add 200 million more to Hell Teacher's appearance fee. LV Ziming was confused, scratching his head. If I do this, won't Wenwen have a problem with me? Ouyang Fengyu stepped up. The old master seems to have left Wenwen in charge, but in reality, he's already captivated by Lu Di. When Lu Di's true strength is revealed, won't you have more chances to get close to Wenwen? Lu Ziming nodded heavily. What Brother Ouyang said makes perfect sense. Ouyang Fengyu then turned to Tiancheng and said, I promise you, the company's third round of funding was a complete success. Soon, you can boldly announce your plan. Tiancheng looked at his fingers clenched in pain, a complex feeling stirring inside. Ouyang Feng smiled faintly. There's no need to say more to him. Now we just need to crush him with pure strength. Tiancheng nodded in agreement. Thanks to you, Brother Ouyang, just now, or we'd have been utterly humiliated. Then he said solemnly, let's proceed exactly as Brother Ouyang suggested. Meanwhile, Lu Di and Qingwen entered the hall. Suddenly, Tiancheng's voice came from behind them. With a slight smile, he said, sorry about earlier, Lu Di. The fault was entirely mine. You, as a benefactor of the Yan family. And driving within the Yan estate, we, as old family, friends of Yan, must treat you with proper respect. Lu Di chuckled. They're just a few stubborn young heirs. Showing courtesy won't hurt. He couldn't take it anymore. Tiancheng was truly angry. This woman was not only the underground syndicate leader, but her father was also the Minister of Finance for China. Just moments ago, the butler Afu said he'd received a call, reporting a sudden visit from the young master. Yan Hongshan looked surprised. Young master? Which young master? Afu explained it was the daughter of the Nantianghai family in Kyoto, their third daughter, Ruo Yi. The young master sent word that because his father couldn't leave the capital, he was specially sent to visit General Haishi, Broken Hand, Zhang, and Yu. Yan Hongshan nodded, still a bit at a loss. The strength of the capital's male families easily dwarfed 10 Yan families combined. As they spoke, an Audi quietly pulled into the estate. Yu Ziming said, what do we do now? In front of the young master, our small capital looks like a joke. Tiancheng carefully analyzed the male family. Whether in politics or business, their power is overwhelming. We probably don't even make the cut. Ouyang Feng smiled slightly. Exactly why we must show our true strength. Maybe even climb higher. Then he glanced at Liu Dai, the stumbling block we must use to our advantage. Let's head out now and greet the young master with our best face forward. As the Audi's doors slowly opened, a pair of delicate high heels touched the ground. The red-haired woman said, Ruo Yi, the wealthy heir of Yan, has arrived uninvited today. I hope you won't blame the Yan family. Yan Xing laughed heartily. Miss Lan's presence already honors our Yan estate. Ruo Yi glanced around. Uncle Yan, do you know if Uncle Haishin and Uncle Duan have arrived yet? Yan Hongxing sighed softly. They're probably still on the way. Let me first introduce the young people here to Miss Nan. Ruo Yi smiled gently. Uncle Yan, no need for formalities. Just call me Ruo Yi. Lu Ziming and Tiancheng stood frozen, while Ouyang Feng maintained his refined composure, silently scoffing. These two really can't make the cut. Then he stepped forward, extending his hand. Hello, Miss Nan. I'm the husband of Yan family's eldest daughter. Who the hell is Ouyang Feng to even shake hands with the underground syndicate leader? Just now, Ouyang Feng calmly introduced himself. I'm the eldest daughter's husband. Just call me Ouyang. Ruo Yi never extended her hand, just casually glanced at everyone. Ouyang Feng awkwardly withdrew his hand, thinking, with such a noble status, her delicate hands aren't for just anyone. Then Yan Hongshan pointed toward Qingwen. This is my second daughter, Yan Qingwen. Ruo Yi nodded slightly, yes, but suddenly her smile froze, because she spotted a familiar figure, the young man at the back, wearing a white shirt and denim cap, paired with those enchanting violet eyes. Ruo Yi's lashes trembled softly. Isn't that the second master? Lu Di smiled, raising his wine glass lightly, then introduced himself to Ruo Yi. I'm Lu Di, brother's brother. Ruo Yi's body trembled again. That's definitely the second master. Did the master use his real name? She thought he wouldn't want to reveal his identity. Lu Di nodded slightly, thinking, who would have guessed this obedient girl before us is actually the true black tiger of Haishi's underworld? Probably no one in the entire syndicate knows she's Miss Nan, and not even the whole Nan family knows she's the black tiger. To her, everything is just a game. At this moment, Ruo Yi transformed completely. The man in white carried a divine presence, undeniably the second master. Ouyang Feng stepped forward, asking, Miss Nan, are you all right? But Ruo Yi remained silent. Wu Yangfeng immediately said, "Why not come with me to Liang Peng's place to rest for a bit?" Miss Ruyi gave an awkward smile. "No need. I'll stay with Brother Liu." Lu Ziming chuckled. "Brother Liu? He isn't part of the Yan family, just their driver." Miss Ruoyi snorted softly, then turned her gaze toward Brother Liu. He wore a nonchalant expression and slowly walked toward the bamboo shed. Miss Ruoyi felt a bit disappointed inside. "Looks like he's not willing. I made my intentions clear." She then nodded slightly in agreement. "Then I'll just follow the host's lead." Wu Yangfeng smiled broadly. "That's no problem." What kind of powerful figure could make even the maritime chief so shocked? Just now, Black Fox, analyzing the situation, clearly didn't want me to make any obvious moves, so he simply went along with the host. But just as everyone was about to move, two cars drove into the Yan estate again. One man stomped heavily on the ground, his skin darkened black. Though older in age, his body was incredibly strong. Then someone spoke. "Old Hey, I finally caught you. You owe me an explanation about that phone." Hey Shan immediately turned serious. "Old Ghost Duan, can't you act more serious as a cadre? Throwing a tantrum here, aren't you afraid the juniors will laugh at you?" Duanhua said, "Old Black Ghost, you didn't pay me back for the phone case, but you have to tell me, did that kid who caused a ruckus at the bank find Hey Shan?" He pretended to be serious. "Don't think, I don't know, you're trying to steal my good magic, hoping to get intel from me. Dream on." Meanwhile, Old Master Yan strode over, Old Duan and General He Shan. "It's been a long time since we last met." Duanhua smiled knowingly. "I say, you old nouveau rich, always putting on a show for no reason." Yan Hongxing said, "With our friendship, how could the face not be kept? Besides, just now, a distinguished guest arrived." Two influential colleagues looked off into the distance. Could that be the daughter of the capital's male leader, Miss Nan, their third daughter? Yan Hongxing said generously, "That young lady is indeed Miss Nan. Today, our Yan family is full of big shots." At this moment, Ruoyi stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Ruoyi greets Uncle Haishin and Uncle Duan. Father specially sent me to pay respects to you two elders." Haishan laughed heartily. "Girls really change as they grow up. If you ever face any trouble, just come find me." Nearby, Wu Yangfeng and the others looked envious. These are all powerful figures who control everything. Miss Lan is still so young, yet she can speak directly with the big shots. Not far off, Brother Liu stood quietly among the crowd, then popped a lollipop into his mouth, thinking to himself, if those two big shots knew Black Fox's true identity, I wonder how they would react. Old Haishan sighed. Please like and subscribe to Manhwa Archive for more OP Manhwa. I have to say, Old Yan's estate is truly impressive in its design. Duanhua lifted his thermos cup and said our maritime department not only boasts beautiful scenery but also countless talents. Then he glanced around and spotted a young man in a white shirt standing out brilliantly. Duanhua suddenly lost control and spat out the tea he was drinking. Who exactly is this powerhouse that left two top military officials dumbfounded? Just moments ago, Commander Duan was bragging with Haishan when he noticed a young man in a white shirt quietly standing in the crowd. Duanhua froze. That was the youth who fought 5 special forces in the bank, right? Duanhua's eyes went wide as he stepped forward without hesitation. Haishan followed Duanhua's gaze, his expression instantly unsettled. Instinctively, he grabbed Duanhua's arm and said, Old Duan, stop right there. A cold sweat appeared on Duanhua's forehead as he shouted, Let go of my arm, old ghost. Haishan clenched his teeth tightly, making it clear he wasn't letting go. Their strange behavior baffled Old Yan completely. Haishan smirked and said, Old Yan, so many young people at the banquet today. Hurry up and introduce them to me. Old Yan nodded and said, Of course, such a trivial matter is no problem. The three then approached a group of young people, but while Old Yan introduced the others, both veterans seemed distracted. Only when it came to Lu Dai did their eyes burn with intensity. I wonder where this young brother Lu Di is from, and if Gao Ju has any hobbies or interests. Ouyang Feng Yu and others nearby were stunned what's going on with Haishan and Duanhua's palms. It felt like today's banquet was all centered on Lu Di. Otherwise, Haishan turned and said, The three of us old-timers will go play chess elsewhere. I have something to discuss with you. Old Yan agreed and immediately made arrangements. Haishan raised a finger and said, If I win today, you'll owe me a favor. Ouyang Feng Yu joined hands and said, It's still a while before Wu Yan arrives. There are plenty of entertainment options in the estate. We could go have some fun. Nearby, Tian Cheng nodded, saying, Yeah, I've long known Brother Ouyang is a retired archery champion. Let's head to the archery range. Ouyang Fengju recalled the previous scene and stammered, Yeah, maybe that's not such a good idea. I heard Brother Ziming is a renowned equestrian expert, and Brother Tian Cheng is a top marksman. The estate has both a horse ranch and a shotgun shooting range. Where did this trash come from, daring to compete in horsemanship with the strongest human? Just now, Ouyang Fengyu shivered, recalling the archery match with Lu Di. Then he said the estate has a horse ranch and a shotgun range, perfect for the young folks to compete. The scene shifted to the ranch where Yu Ziming stepped forward, saying, I've competed in nearly 100 equestrian contests, but I've never seen a horse with such spirit. The horse looked like a mountain iron hoof stallion, its hooves extraordinarily tough, every racer's dream steed. Lu Di was also drawn to the magnificent horse and couldn't help but approach to gently stroke it. Yu Ziming grew impatient and warned, Liu Di, I advise you to be careful, the horse has a fierce temperament. Ouyang Fengyu agreed. Brother Ziming is right, this horse has been at the estate for some time, but no one has managed to tame it. But Yu Ziming, now brimming with confidence, said, I've been lucky enough to handle horses like this before, taming it should be a breeze. Lu Di waved his hand and said, if you're so confident, why not show everyone what you've got? Yu Ziming froze. So many big shots were here today, especially the top-tier Master Nan. He then composed himself and said, since Master Nan graces us with his presence, I will give it my all in this performance. Yu Ziming smiled softly, soothing the proud stallion, then vaulted onto its back in the next moment. The wild iron-hoof stallion showed no resistance. Yu Ziming carried himself with grace atop the horse, earning rounds of applause from the young crowd. Yu Ziming's expression grew resolute as he calmly whispered, Giddy up. An eerie silence fell. The stallion didn't move an inch. Yu Ziming tightened the saddle and kept commanding the horse, but it refused to take a single step. The entire crowd fell silent. Ouyang Fengyu was stunned, no one dared to speak. Yet Lu Di chuckled lightly, mocking, You worthless amateurs, stop struggling. I suggest you dismount within 10 seconds. This man's power was undeniable, just a single glance from him made the stallion kneel in submission. Moments ago, Yu Ziming tried to tame the iron hoof stallion first, but the horse gave him no quarter. Nearby, Liu Dai warned him to dismount within 10 seconds. Suddenly, Lu Ziming shouted from his horse, What do you know, driver? But before he could finish, the prized horse suddenly let out a wild roar, rearing its front hooves high, throwing Lu Ziming 3 meters away. The crowd showed subtle surprise what Lu Di said was actually true. Lu Ziming staggered up and said, Ouyang Fengyu, what kind of crappy horse is this? Must be faulty. Lu Di stepped forward and said the problem was with this prized horse. It was actually a purebred Mongolian warhorse, not something any common pest could tame. The Mongolian warhorse snorted fiercely, as if confirming Lu Di's words. Lu Di said, With your kind of stupidity, do you really think you deserve to ride a Mongolian warhorse? Lu Ziming instantly grew angry. This horse is clearly wild, its training was never done properly. Ouyang Fengyu said, Since you say that, Lu Di, are you brave enough to prove it yourself? Lao Yan grew uneasy, worry etched on his face, but Lu Di just shook his head slightly. No need to prove it by riding. Lu Ziming chuckled, Ha, so all you're good at is talking. Lu Di turned around, hands behind his back, eyes locked firmly on the Mongolian warhorse. The once proud warhorse suddenly bowed its head deeply, then stepped forward with both front hooves, quietly kneeling before Lu Di like a devoted warrior before a war god. Lao Yan's doubts deepened. What kind of extraordinary man was Lu Di? To Miss Ruoyi, it all seemed both natural and stirring to her heart. Meanwhile, Ouyang Fengyu broke into a cold sweat. This kid had already crushed him in archery, and now he was stealing the spotlight again with horsemanship. Nearby, Tian Chung snorted coldly. We'll settle this with a shotgun and flying discs next. That poor kid probably hasn't even seen one. Ouyang Fengyu said, Perfect. I'll find a way to push him to lose miserably. This man planned to shoot down 70 flying discs in just 3 seconds. Just now at the racetrack ceremony, Lu Di had already stolen the show alone. The three had hoped to impress Miss Nan but ended up losing face terribly. So they headed to the manor's shooting range, a whole hectare of lawn dedicated to target practice. Tian Chang puffed out his chest. I've been hunting and shooting since I was young. I'd say my aim is pretty good. For this kind of flying disc shooting, with 2 disc throwers alternating, hitting 70 out of 75 discs is normal. Then he chuckled. Even compared to an Olympic champion, I'd only missed 3 shots. Confused and stunned, the discs flew wildly from the machines. It's seriously hard to hit them all in seconds. Xin said, I tried secretly before and didn't hit a single one. I was so mad I almost smashed my gun. Tian Cheng slowly looked at Lu Di. I heard your archery skills are exceptional. How about your shotgun shooting? Meanwhile, Ouyang Fengyu nodded beside him. With your archery talent, why not join in? Suddenly, Motong announced the subconscious fusion of Olympic champion flying disc shooting and cool gun-holding posture was complete. Motong asked, Liu Di, have you missed me? I've been upgrading my system, so I took a short nap. Liu Di smirked, I'm wondering when you'll really grow up. I don't need to pose cool with a gun. Motong replied, better safe than sorry. Everyone loves looking good. Now I'll get back to upgrading. Lu Di walked calmly to the shotgun. You guys sure talk a lot of nonsense. Since you want to embarrass yourselves, I'll gladly join you. Tian Cheng chuckled. All right then, start the 2 disc throwers. We each get 30 shots. How's that? Lu Di said, I told you, no more nonsense. After I finish shooting, you can use the remaining time for practice. He slowly lined up 70 shotgun shells neatly on the table. Then Lu Di picked up the double-barrel shotgun, expertly testing the trigger and aligning the sights with smooth, fluid motions. Ouyang Fenyu felt a chill. That familiar feeling was back. This kid might be a seasoned expert. Lu Di called out loudly to the operator, turn on all 4 disc throwers, random directions. I want continuous shooting. Tian Cheng chuckled. Lu Di, do you even know how to handle a double-barrel shotgun? This isn't a machine gun. The distant operator scratched his head, puzzled. Mr. Lu, are you sure? I've never heard of this shooting style before. You must be some kind of legend. 3 big shots are stunned. Just now, Lu Di raised his double-barrel shotgun and ordered all 4 disc throwers on random directions. It left the operator completely dumbfounded. Mr. Lu Di, are you absolutely sure? Lu Di nodded firmly. No need for more words, just start shooting now. Lu Di pushed forward with both hands. 2 bullets were chambered, the shotgun primed and ready. With only 4 sharp cracks slicing through the air, 4 clay pigeons were launched simultaneously. Lu Di stood imposing, gun steady, aiming true. His colleague Motong had already marked all the data, every detail under control. In just 0.4 seconds, 2 consecutive shots struck every target. Lu Di smoothly opened the shotgun barrel, then with his right foot slammed down 2 shells. Using 2 fingers, he loaded them into the chamber, preparing for the second round of fire. His focus sharpened even more. Suddenly, 2 blasts lit up the remaining 2 clay discs, shattered with deadly precision. Everyone nearby froze in stunned silence. This was nothing short of godlike marksmanship. The scariest part? It all happened within a single second. Suddenly, 4 more discs were hurled into the air again, repeating the lightning-fast process. 4 more targets were hit without fail. Tian Cheng was utterly dumbfounded. Screw shotgun duels, this kid Lu Di was no mere human. Meanwhile, in a nearby pavilion, 3 elderly men playing chess were startled by the gunfire. Haitian Jiaoguan's face darkened instantly. Let's see who's throwing clay pigeons at a speed twice that of my ace soldiers. Narrowing his eyes, he strained to look into the distance. Lu Di attacked the discs at a speed the naked eye couldn't follow, yet his expression showed no hint of strain. Haitian Jiaoguan muttered, damn it, it really is that little freak. Then he turned excitedly and shouted, today, even if I risk my life, I'm going to win this game against Old Man Yan. The scene shifted back to the shooting range. In just 1 minute, Lu Di had blasted all 70 clay pigeons to pieces. Lighting a lollipop with the still-glowing shotgun barrel, he turned and said, you all keep playing. I'm going to check on those old men now. Everyone was completely stunned. With skills like that, he should be hauling home gold medals daily, so why did he choose to be a driver for the Yan family? Meanwhile, Yan Qingwen was deep in thought. Who exactly was Lu Di? All these incredible skills concentrated in just one person. What kind of powerhouse could single-handedly crack the 9 Dragons endgame? Just now, whether it was horse taming or shotgun shooting, Lu Di crushed everyone effortlessly. This left the Yan family's richest daughter shaken. How many more tricks did he have up his sleeve, and what was his true identity? Beside her, the young lady Ruo Yi watched with satisfaction. As the second master, she felt all this was only natural. Under a sunshade, Haitian said, Old Yan, I think you're going to lose this game. Yan Laoyi hesitated. Haitian's black stones were like tigers descending the mountain, while the white stones were already facing defeat. Haitian Mo Lian said, about that request I mentioned earlier, I won't be polite anymore. Nearby, Duan Hua's palms itched with frustration. The higher-ups always crushed the little guys. Now even a chess game had to bend to authority. Looks like no chance for a personnel shuffle today. Yan Laoyi frowned. I honestly don't understand why someone as important as Haitian would have business with a small-time merchant like me. Haitian said, your Yan estate is full of young talents. It makes me green with envy. To be honest, I only want one person. Yan Laoyi seemed to realize something. You held back for so long before agreeing to release TZ and the others. Now you want to take someone back? Haitian shook his finger. I don't care about your brothers. I only want one young man from your Yan family. Yan Laoyi suddenly leaned forward, sensing something was wrong. Haitian pouted, then pointed ahead. Isn't that him? Yan Laoyi's gaze hardened. When he spotted Lu Di's figure, his face darkened. Lu Di, are you sure you want to take him away? He's just an ordinary man, even a bit disabled. Sending him to the military, is that some kind of joke? Haitian chuckled. If he were weak, then my soldiers wouldn't even count as men. Meanwhile, the chessboard offered Yan Lei no chance. This move sealed his defeat. The white stones were completely locked down. By the way, this move is called the Nine Dragons Endgame. Even top Go masters can't solve it. Yan Laoyi panicked. Old hey, you can't do this. I don't agree. Suddenly, a slender arm reached beside Yan Laoyi. Someone placed a white stone lightly in an inconspicuous corner of the board, asking, what if it's like this? A fierce duel between a general and a tycoon unfolded as a young player made a divine move. Liu Di picked up a white stone from the richest man of Haishi and gently tapped it inside the black stone's encirclement. At that moment, Yan Hongxin finally saw who had entered the pavilion. It was Liu Di. Liu Di's lips curled into a smile. Haitian, take another look at the board. Haitian froze, then glanced at the board. That single look only deepened his astonishment. Moments later, Haitian asked in shock, little brother, what kind of move was that? Liu Di chuckled. I just heard you call that move the Nine Dragons' Tail. Well then, mine is the Hedgehog's Flip. Suddenly, Duanhua gave a thumbs up. Little brother, that move is brilliant. You cut off two of Haitian's major lines and saved Lord Yan's white pieces from danger. Haitian's energy surged. Liu Di had once again exceeded his expectations. This kid wasn't just strong, he saw the whole battlefield clearly. Standing up, Haitian declared, since the game's broken, Lord Yan, shall we continue? Today, I must fight for a clear win or loss. Yan Hongxing yawned and said, fight for what? I'm hungry. Let's prepare lunch right away. Meanwhile, the banquet was set. Yan Laoyi, Haitian, and Commander Duanhua sat at the head table. The younger generation gathered on either side, their minds occupied, the atmosphere oddly calm. Yan Laoyi broke the silence first. Everyone seems a bit tense. Let's have Wenwen share her recent work achievements. Qingwen immediately stood. Our Yinzi group just launched a new medical device. We're teaming up with singer number 1 for a charity concert. Sales aren't the focus, we'll have donation events and hope everyone supports us. The elders nodded slightly, their eyes filled with approval. Suddenly, a discordant voice interrupted. Ouyang Fengju stood. Wait a minute, Yinji Group survives on sales profit. Do you think we're a charity? Shaking his head, he added, just so you know, I've partnered with President Lu Ziming. Hell Teacher will follow my plan. Lu Ziming agreed. Brother Ouyang's right, everyone knows singer number 1's influence. Product sales will be effortless. Who is this impressive character, calling everyone here trash? Just now, Ouyang Fengyu claimed cooperation with singer number 1 and promised new product sales won't drop below 20 billion yuan. Then Lu Ziming stood as well. I'll fully support Brother Ouyang. Ouyang Fengyu said firmly, there will be no mistakes this time. Although Wenwen leads the marketing, sales performance remains our priority. Qingwen looked flustered and glanced at her father, Yan Hongxing, who instinctively looked over to Liu Di. Liu Di appeared indifferent, fiddling with the tableware, clearly uninterested. Suddenly, applause broke the silence. Tiancheng said, I fully support Brother Ouyang's plan. I won't hide it anymore. My company, Me Too, is about to go public. Duanhua's palm twitched hearing this. These young people kept outdoing each other. Today truly opened my eyes. The usually silent Ruo Yi finally spoke. I'm just a minor antique collector. I won't embarrass myself in front of everyone. Tiancheng immediately flattered, Miss Lan, you're too modest. Your status needs no explanation. We couldn't compare even if we combined forces. Yan Laoyi also affirmed, Miss Lan's strength speaks for itself. Your presence here honors the Yan family immensely. Liu Di smiled lowly. Hey, just a bunch of trash. Ouyang Fengyu couldn't believe his ears. Liu Di, what did you say? Dare to say that again? Liu Di suddenly lifted his head. Sorry, I meant Ouyang Fengyu, Lu Ziming, and Zhou Tiancheng. You three are the real trash. Furious, Ouyang Fengyu stood and shouted at Liu Di. You've gone too far. In broad daylight, bold insults flew. Liu Di's face remained calm. Your so-called achievements? In my eyes, they're no better than garbage. Tiancheng beside him lost his cool. You're just a driver with no sword skills. What right do you have to judge our accomplishments? Liu Di sighed deeply. I stayed with the Yan family out of goodwill, always keeping a low profile. But lately, I've had headaches because some jesters keep making noise in front of me. His gaze flashed like lightning, locking onto the three. A senior recently reminded me young people must dare to fight and risk it all. Who is this impressive figure, making even the Minister of Finance's daughter in the capital break into a cold sweat? Just now, Liu Di decided to stop hiding his strength. You're hosting a concert? Let me be blunt, your first show will be the biggest joke in Haishi this year. Ouyang Fengyu instantly exploded. Liu Di, are you cursing me? What gives you the right to say that? Not only was Ouyang Fengyu furious, but the others at the table also furrowed their brows, puzzled by Liu Di's words and actions. Liu Di said, This isn't a curse. This concert is destined to be a complete failure because I'm organizing a charity gala for Wenwen just 1 kilometer from Huishan Plaza along Coastal Street. The audience will naturally flock to our event, and we won't have to spend a single cent. Ouyang Fengyu's expression darkened. Just because of a few shabby buildings on Coastal Street, you think you can compete with our luxurious Huishan Plaza? Lu Di stood silently without a word, while Zhou Tiancheng smirked. Lu Di, did something hit you? You're just spouting nonsense out of nowhere. Lu Di turned to Zhou Tiancheng. You, a black-hearted businessman, dare to laugh? Your company's so-called unique tourism projects are all shady. The local natives are full of complaints. Zhou Tiancheng suddenly shuddered, completely caught off guard. How did Lu Di know those company secrets? Then he pointed at Lu Di and said, "You're slandering us without proof. Can you show any evidence?" Lu Di mentioned Tan Yishu, stating, "Whether I can produce evidence now doesn't matter. Within an hour, your company will go bankrupt and collapse completely." Suddenly, Lord Yan shouted sternly, "Lu Di, what's wrong with you today? All these are just nonsense. You really disappoint me." Nearby, Keishin was also displeased. Lu Di's problem is he loves to brag. How could his concert possibly compare to teacher number 1? He's our idol. Zhou Tiancheng said, "I propose we ask Lu Di to leave so he can calm down." Lu Di smiled helplessly. "I haven't finished speaking yet." Ouyang Fengyu could no longer sit still. "Lu Di, you've gone too far today, mocking me nonstop. Do you dare slander Miss Nan as well? Do you know who Miss Nan is?" Zhou Tiancheng sneered. "I'm really curious what flaw could the impeccable Miss Nan possibly have?" Lu Di chuckled. "With a bunch of ants like them, how could they know that in Miss Nan's heart, I'm just as untouchable?" Miss Nan next to him suddenly looked awkward, a cold sweat breaking out on her forehead. Who could be so powerful that the underworld king personally lights a cigarette for his wife? Just moments ago, Lu Di not only claimed his concert's popularity would surpass the song Gods, but also predicted a company's bankruptcy within an hour. When it came to judging Miss Ruo Yi, panic flickered. Though he trusted Mr. Second, a cold sweat was inevitable. Lord Yan also grew serious. "Lu Di, be careful. Miss Nan is not someone you can judge." Lu Di fell silent, instead pulling out a cigarette and placing it between his lips. Zhou Tiancheng was stunned. "Lu Di, have you lost your mind?" But before he finished, his expression already went blank. All eyes watched as Miss Nan, normally indifferent to the world, suddenly stood up. She pulled out a lighter from her purse, bowed slightly forward, shielding the flame with one hand while lighting Lu Di's cigarette with the other. Lu Di exhaled a thick plume of smoke without saying a word, while Miss Ruo Yi quietly stood behind him. Everyone blinked hard to make sure they weren't seeing things. The revered Miss Nan had just circled half the table to light a cigarette for that guy. Zhou Tiancheng's eyes widened in shock. "Miss Lan, why are you lighting his cigarette?" He said Lu Di is just a driver. Miss Ruo Yi's lips moved slightly, offering no explanation. "It's simply because Sir wanted to smoke, that's all." The old shop owner looked utterly incredulous. "Miss Nan, do you really call Lu Di sir?" Miss Ruo Yi confirmed. "That's right. Don't just talk about lighting a cigarette. Even if Sir asked me to risk my life, I wouldn't disobey." Lord Yan's heart churned uneasily. He couldn't help but ask, "May I ask, Miss Ruo Yi, what is your relationship with Lu Di?" Miss Ruo Yi replied apologetically, "Sir has not benefited me. I cannot say." Lord Yan gasped sharply. It seemed Lu Di's connection to the Nan family was extraordinary, so much so that even the proud Miss Nan dared not defy him. Suddenly, Zhou Tiancheng's phone rang. He immediately stiffened. "Who is it?" A woman's anxious voice came through the line. "President Zhou, it's bad the company is going bankrupt." Zhou Tiancheng stared in disbelief. "What did you say?" "Say that again." The man's voice was sharp. "A billion-dollar company going bankrupt just like that?" The voice on the other end repeated, "President Zhu, it's bad. Our company is going bankrupt." Zhou Tiancheng was stunned again. "What? Say that again." The voice continued, "President Zhou, are you aware of the recently launched Gemini company? Among them, the travel segment exposed us, claiming our tour routes not only damage the ecosystem, but even occupy aid meant for residents." Zhou Tiancheng sat dumbfounded, stunned by the news. With exposure of this level, how could it possibly bankrupt the company? On the phone, the other side helplessly explained that alongside the exposure, 120 tour routes were released. Most importantly, they're free. Many have already come to the company causing trouble. "President Zhou, please come help me." Zhou Tiancheng's face instantly drained of color, struck as if by lightning, collapsing silently inside. The entire banquet hall fell silent again, everyone wearing faces of disbelief. Zhou Tiancheng snapped back, pointing at Lu Di. "What's your relationship with Gemini? I don't believe they would target me without reason." Upon hearing this, everyone immediately connected the dots. Recently, Gemini has been pulling off miracle after miracle. even showing signs of rivaling Penguin Corp. Beside them, Nan Rui's heart churned. Her husband insisted on being called second, while Gemini's founder is known as third. Could all this really be a coincidence? Ludi said, "It's funny you mention that. Gemini's CEO Zhang Qianjia happens to be my college classmate." Zhou Tiansheng's anger flared. "So it's you after all. Why didn't I see you contacting anyone else?" Ludi, sentimental, faithless self-shut. Zhou Tiansheng could never have imagined Liu Di would destroy him so utterly with just 1,000,000,000 years. Then Zhou Tiansheng leapt over the table, fists raised in combat stance. "If I have no way out, you won't have an easy time either." But Liu Di remained calm, seemingly without even considering moving an inch. Suddenly, a swift kick flashed by. Miss Ruo Yi was angry, her face darkened with fury. Zhou Tiansheng was slammed down hard onto the table by a leg, then kicked away 3 meters. Liu Di crossed his arms and smiled. "Now it's just the two of you left. Let's settle this at the concert." Both men were stunned, sweat pouring down their faces. Suddenly, Lord Yan stood up. "Liu Di, now it's more fitting to call you Mr. Liu," he said, bowing deeply. Liu Di hurried to steady Lord Yan. "You don't need to go to such lengths." Yan Hongxin grabbed Liu Di's sleeve. "Mr. Liu, what are your plans going forward? Do you intend to stay with the Yan family? What exactly happened to mobilize 5,000 special forces from China?" Just moments ago, Lord Yan personally delivered Liu Di's stepmother, then asked again about his future plans and whether he wished to remain with the Yan family. Liu Di nodded slightly. "I always see things through to the end. Once I eliminate the traitors and have a clear conscience, I will naturally leave the Yan family." Nearby, General Haishi grew restless. "I wasn't wrong. Liu Di isn't just arrogant and domineering, he's fiercely loyal." Golden light flickered in Haitian's eyes. "Since our family matters are settled, let's talk about the doctor." The scene shifted to chaos as several armored vehicles roared in. Armed soldiers poured out, encircling the Yan estate, while squads stormed inside the banquet, guns raised. Haitian boomed, "I hold a national conscription order. Anyone I choose must obey unconditionally and enlist with me." Nearby, Duan Fa's mind spun. "Haitian, you're ruthless, mobilizing 5,000 special forces just like that?" Haitian laughed heartily. "Ruthless, my survival depends on this pain." Then he told Yan Hongxin, "Your younger generation will be caught off guard. They have no choice in what happens next." Lord Yan sighed helplessly. He had expected Haitian to try to sway them, but not in such a way. With a wave of his hand, servants and Yan family members withdrew, leaving only 4, Nan Ruoi, Liu Di, and 2 others. Liu Di smiled faintly, unbothered, while Nan Ruoi retired with pride and resignation. Moments later, only 4 remained inside: Liu Di, General Haitian, Duan Fa, and Yan Huaqi. Liu Di faced Haitian. "If I had no purpose, that chess game just now would have been unwinnable." Haitian suddenly became boisterous. "If you can keep those brats under control, I have no choice but to respect you." Liu Di smirked. "No matter what you say, I don't want to be a soldier." Duan Fa immediately chimed in. "Not being a soldier is great. Come be a cop with me." Haitian frowned. "Old Duan, stay out of my way." "What's going on?" A 3-star general bowing to a young man. Just now, Haitian mobilized 5,000 special forces to win over Liu Di, but Liu Di remained unmoved. No matter what Haitian says, Liu Di won't choose to enlist. Haitian's face darkened as he approached Emperor Liu. "Though I'm as greedy as they come, I wouldn't move such a force for just one person." Then he bowed slightly. "Consider it a favor, please?" Liu Di scratched his head. "Just be honest, what exactly do you mean?" Haitian replied, "What I want you to do this time is basically a suicide mission." Liu Di froze instantly. "Suicide mission? You sure know how to sugarcoat it." Nearby, Duan Hua approached, palm on his face in despair. "Our military has a long-planned operation. For ordinary people, it's a death sentence. But for you, maybe not so much." Liu Di nodded. "I see. I'm all ears." Suddenly, Haitian said no. "This is top military secret. If you hear it, you'll have to come with the old lady to Ludi Jiangtu for settling in." "Forget it then. If that's the case, I won't listen." Haitian coughed heavily twice. "This little monster is really driving me mad." Outside the manor, an old man strode forward with a deliberate gait. The Yan family gates were surrounded by armed soldiers, but the old man showed no fear. With a grin, he said, "Little one, let me show you something. Can you let me in?" The armed soldiers were caught between laughter and disbelief but lowered their gaze to look. At first glance, it was harmless, but when they saw it, every soldier shuddered, then immediately saluted the elder with the highest military honor. The old man wore a golden medal around his collar, the special honor only granted to the god of war. The old man smiled again. "This is just from treating the kids on the battlefield. Let this old man see a few friends inside." A soldier nearby turned immediately. "Please wait here. I'll go inside to report. Inside the banquet hall, Haitian's face was flushed. Liu Di, I'll be frank with you. No matter what, you're coming with me. Otherwise, don't expect to walk out of enemy's gate. Duan Hua interjected, can't you give him some time to think? This seems too rushed. Suddenly, a deep, steady, aged voice came from the doorway. Little Haishi, what are you all busy with? Haishan turned, his expression shifting sharply. Then he beamed with excitement. Big brother, you're here? Duan Hua and Yan Laoi looked toward the voice, their faces changing instantly. Who's this big brother who commands such respect that Ludi personally toasts him? An old man wearing the God of War medal entered the hall. Haitian instantly lost his composure. Big brother, how could you come to a place like this? Meanwhile, Duan Hua and Yan Hongxing exchanged glances. It's really big brother himself. Liu Dai also turned and respectfully greeted the elder. Fo Yi clasped his hands behind his back and said one word, serve the wine. Haitian and Duan Hua scrambled, pulling out a bottle of fine foreign liquor to pour for Fo Yi. But Fo Yi wrinkled his nose in distaste and turned his body away, clearly unimpressed. Suddenly, Liu Di stepped forward. Me too. I brought some top-tier erguo too. Want to try? Fo Yi patted Liu Di's shoulder. My little Liu Di knows me well. He's the only one allowed to clean my hospital. No one else can take him away. Haitian was momentarily stunned but couldn't help speaking. I brought a conscription force this time. Big brother, could you give me some face? Fo Yi chuckled, then glanced sideways. Would I refuse? Haishan instantly stiffened. Though he was Dongfang Shenjian's chief instructor, if Big Brother didn't show face, even a dragon would have to bow aside. Yan Hongxing, seeing Big Brother on his side, immediately lost his temper. Haitian, withdraw your troops at once. People might think I've done something wrong. Haitian shook his head with a bitter smile. Old Yan, do you really think Ludi is just an ordinary man? Or someone with mere top family connections? Yan Lai looked confused. Isn't he? Haitian sighed helplessly. You should know the caliber of the special forces under my command, right? The elder nodded, well aware of the strength of TC and his men. Haitian continued, not long ago, 6 of my new recruits had a misunderstanding with Emperor Liu. They couldn't last 40 seconds under his command, all collapsing like ragdolls. Then Liu Di knocked one of my squad leaders flying with a single punch. The elder suddenly staggered, almost losing his footing, sweat beading across his forehead. Haitian sighed again. Though I brought so many troops today, if it came to a fight, I doubt I could match that little monster Liu Di. Yan Laoyi's shock deepened, almost to the point of amusement. I once thought the young ones at the banquet could push Liu Dai, but now I see that was a joke. His talent far surpasses their judgment. Suddenly, saliva beside him spoke up to Little Black. I know what you want Emperor Liu to do. What's going on? The man actually guessed the highest military secret of Huaxia. According to Haitian's description, even 5,000 special forces acting together might not leave a single survivor. Then Tuo Yemen took a sip of erguo tu and said to Little Black, Brother, I actually know everything you're planning. After all, this matter is crucial for Huaxia and must be completed. Haitian Wenyan shuddered all over. Brother truly is brother. Looks like you haven't been idle all these years. Meanwhile, Duan Hua sighed. Even if brother wanted to rest, he couldn't. All 13 of our Huaxia generals owe their lives to him. I shook my head, showing that I understood Little Black's feelings, and said, but regarding your matter, I can lend a hand. Haitian's eyes suddenly brightened, clearly a bit incredulous. Brother, are you serious? Tuo Ye turned his gaze to Brother Liu. As for Brother Liu, I can have him help you a few times. If needed, I'll arrange it. Haitian patted his chest, his heart filling with hope again. Everything will follow Brother's plan. Haitian instinctively looked at Brother Liu, who had been quietly listening. Aren't you at all curious about what we just talked about? Liu Di smiled faintly. I'd already guessed most of it. Haitian Wenyan was stunned, even more surprised than Tuo Ye just now, because this was simply impossible. Brother Liu then said, if I'm not mistaken, what you're talking about is Huaxia's top secret. Strangely, Yan Laoyi appeared here, so it must be related to the Yinji group. After my analysis, combined with reports of special humans on the international internet, it's likely about modifying humans. Yan Laoyi's face showed surprise. Yes, this is just absurd. Damn absurd. Open the door. Haishan and Duan Hua exchanged glances. They could only think of one possibility, then shifted their gaze to Tuo Ye. Tuo Ye took another sip of erguodo. Don't look at me. I haven't told Brother Liu a thing. Brother Liu chuckled. Judging by your expressions, what I said is probably correct, but there's one thing I must warn Yan Laoye about. Watch out for Ouyang Fengyu. Yan Laoye smiled bitterly. Fengyu came from a humble background and naturally has designs on our Yan family business. But isn't it you who's keeping him in check? Emperor Liu was stunned. I'm keeping him in check? Are you sure, sir? Who is this powerful figure that even 5,000 Huaxia special forces salute him? According to Emperor Lu's description, Huaxia's highest secret is the latest human modification project. He then said that although Yan Laoi's net worth exceeds 100 billion, he must stay wary of his eldest son-in-law. Yan Laoi looked puzzled. But isn't it you who's keeping him in check? Brother Lu chuckled. Actually, it's not as complicated as it seems. If your eldest son-in-law steps out of line, I'll make sure he suffers eternal damnation. Yan Laoi's body trembled, disbelief written all over his face. It can't be this serious over something so small. Emperor Lu didn't answer Yan Lai but looked at Heshin and said, I was reckless about the bank matter. Those warriors had their faces covered, I couldn't identify them. Heshin twitched at the corner of his mouth. I truly admire your observation skills. It's a shame you're not part of our plan. Tuo Ye then coughed heavily. Regarding Huaxia's secret, I vouch for Emperor Liu, he won't believe it. He stood up and said, Brother Lu, I'm tired. Escort me back. Brother Lu said nothing and quickly followed Tuo Ye's steps. At the same time, Heshin hurried forward. Brother, why don't we go with you? We can discuss the plan in detail. Fo Yi didn't even turn around. Only Nan Nan's voice was heard saying, Number. I find you annoying. Heshin and the others froze on the spot, while Duan Hua and Yan Lai broke out in cold sweat. The scene shifted outside the manor. Zhou Tianchen just woke up, puzzled by the stone spears scattered all over the yard. Was Lu Di left behind by the two bosses for a private talk? Nearby, Yang Fengyu sneered. It must be that arrogant Emperor Lu causing trouble again. Suddenly, all the armed soldiers tightened their formation. After a quick run, they lined up neatly on both sides of the gate. Then, an elder from the tall building stepped out first, closely followed by Emperor Lu. All the armed soldiers snapped to military posture, raising their arms in perfect unison to give the two the highest military salute. Lu Ziming and others were stunned, completely unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. This was the highest honor in the military. Who is that old man? If Lord Lu follows someone like him, then who exactly is he? Lu Di slowly stepped in front of Miss Ruo Yi. Regarding your business, I have some ideas for improvement. I'll get in touch with you soon. Lan Ruo Yi nodded respectfully as before, but inside, she was restless. Just how many identities does this man hold? The man's right eye was a mysterious Motong. His subordinate was the underground crime lord, and his grandfather was once a war god in the Chinese army. Lu Di agreed and said, Thanks for helping me out just now. Lord Fo chuckled. Even if I hadn't come today, do you really think they could have stopped you? Lu Diwen was puzzled, but more shocked. What exactly was Lord Tuo's intention today? Lord Tuo said, Your future is limitless. While this old bone still holds some authority, I can help you build connections within the military. Lu Di immediately nodded deeply in thanks, but Lord Tuo remained modest. At that moment, Heshin and Duan Hua's car, along with several armored troop carriers, slowly caught up to the two. Heshin rolled down the window and leaned toward Lord Tuo's car. A smile crept over his lips. Boss, let me give you a ride. Lord Tuo waved his pale hand impatiently. Go on, don't bother me. Heishan looked annoyed but ordered the driver to move on, passing by them. Lord Fo then turned his gaze to Lu Di. Your progress exceeds my expectations. You can even beat Heshin's soldiers now. When I first saved you, I knew you were different. Your genes can self-improve, you're a chosen one. Lu Di's achievements all came from Motong's constant adjustments. He summed it up simply. I was just lucky. Lu Di paused and casually asked, By the way, where did the right eye you gave me come from? Lord Fo stroked his chin, thinking for a long time. I think I forgot which hospital it was checked at, but it had already been disinfected back then. Lu Di was a bit bewildered, and Lord Tuo chuckled, Your talent is your luck, but it's also the lifeblood of China. When the country needs you, I hope you'll shoulder that responsibility. Lord Fo looked ahead, and Lu Di saw a deep, hidden patriotism burning in his eyes. Though Lord Tuo lived in anonymity, his love for the nation never faded. Who was this formidable figure bold enough to attack Chief Instructor Tian Luo just now? Liu Di walked the mountain road with Lord Tuo, while Yang Fengyu and two others stood atop the peak watching them. Nearby, Zhou Tiancheng grew angrier by the moment, punching a tree. That damn Liu Di is dead to me. He ruined my business. I'll never let him off. Yang Fengyu said, What can you do to him? Haven't you seen his power? Both the state and military treat him with utmost respect. Zhou Tiancheng sneered. So what if Liu Di's powerful? Can he be protected 24/7? From now on, I won't interfere. I'll mobilize all contacts to hunt down this fugitive. Watch Liu Di closely. If he's alone, take his life. Yang Fengyu didn't argue further, thinking it was rare to have a fool like Zhou Tiancheng take the lead. It would be perfect if Liu Di got eliminated. Suddenly, The three froze as explosions echoed along the mountain path, not from Lord Tuo or Lu Di's direction, but from Haitian's convoy midway up the mountain. Amid the chaos, Haitian's convoy was engulfed in thick smoke. All gunmen dismounted and took defensive positions, but visibility was lost. The soldiers grew anxious. No one could take down Haitian, yet here they faced an attack. Suddenly, a figure leapt over an armored vehicle, moving like a phantom into the mist. In seconds, several soldiers were instantly killed by that shadow. The phantom dashed to Haitian's Audi, right palm charging with golden electric currents. Who would have thought? The heavy Audi door buckled under the phantom's grip, slowly twisting and deforming. On the mountain path, Lord Tuo and Lu Di watched everything clearly. Lord Tuo said, "This is probably an assassination attempt on Little Black. Lu Di, that phantom isn't ordinary. Can you stop him?" Inside Lu Di's vision, Motong had already captured all the phantom's movement data. Analysis showed his speed and strength were beyond normal humans. Lu Di lowered his body slowly, muscles tensing, bones crackling. The ground trembled slightly as he launched like an arrow, leaping across half the mountain path in a single bound. The man casually threw a punch, sending an international assassin flying. Lu Di's right eye flashed with purple lightning. His calf suddenly powered up as he soared above the battlefield. But the phantom assassin was relentless. Grabbing the car door with his right hand, he tore it off with brutal force and then tossed it several meters away. Suddenly, a fist burst through the car window, accompanied by the roaring sound of cracking glass. But the assassin showed no panic, casually raising his right hand to firmly trap the fist. On the other side, Haitian's face darkened, clearly on the back foot. Yet, the phantom assassin gave him no chance to react. His left hand flashed with light, and a dagger appeared in his palm. Haitian froze instantly. Was it really over just like that? Suddenly, a figure landed on the Audi's roof, and the car's glass shattered into pieces in an instant. Lu Di furrowed his brows, his right forearm tensing slightly. The phantom paused for a split second at Lu Di's expression, but it was already too late. The power behind Lu Di's punch was immense, with no chance to dodge. With a thunderous crash, Lu Di stood still as the phantom was sent flying backward, crashing into the trees on the mountainside. Suddenly, Motong's data comparison showed a 95% resemblance to that woman. Then a name slowly appeared in Lu Di's view. His body trembling, he could hardly believe it. He immediately ordered Motong to search at once. They absolutely couldn't let the target escape. Watching the battle unfold were not only Tuoy but also Wu Yang, Feng Yu, and two others with higher ranks. Nearby, Zhou Tiancheng was stunned, cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. "I didn't just imagine that, right?" he asked. LV Ziming slowly came to his senses. "I promise you didn't see wrong. Didn't you want to go down with that freak?" Zhou Tiancheng looked terrified. "I never said that. I take back what I said." He then turned and ran to the front of the car to Lu Di. "I can't afford to offend you too. Take care of yourselves." At the same time, Haitian moved closer to Lu Di. "This guy shattered my worldview again. He's even more twisted than I imagined." Lu Di said nothing, slowly turning around. Then his brows furrowed deeply. "Haitian, do you know who just tried to assassinate you? What's going on?" The mighty Haitian actually bowed to a young man. Lu Di's brows tightened. "Haitian, do you know who tried to kill you?" Haitian replied, "Being targeted by assassins is nothing new to me, but judging by that person's clothes, they must belong to an international assassin organization." Suddenly, Tuoy strolled down the mountain path. "Little Hay, you owe Lu Di your life this time." Lu Di said nothing, standing quietly. Haitian bowed slightly. "Thanks to Lu Di's life-saving grace, I will never forget it." 10 minutes later, a soldier reported, "We've searched all the nearby book boys but couldn't find the injured assassin." Haitian's face darkened further. "Clear the battlefield immediately. This must not leak to the outside world. These assassins are getting stronger each time. If we don't leave a trace this time, it might be the end today." Haitian instinctively glanced at Tuoye. "The enemy's research on mutants has far outpaced Huaxia." I sigh quietly. "We must act fast. I'll move quickly." Suddenly, Lu Di spoke up. "Isn't it strange that this happened at the Yan family estate?" Haitian's expression hardened, eyes steady. "Old Yan is beyond suspicion. No matter where I go, I'm always a target." Lu Di Wenyan gave a thumbs up. "True to form, Haitian. I really admire your courage." Haitian was unimpressed. "They tried to kill me for only one reason, to stop Huaxia." The scene shifted to the Yan estate. Motong scanned nearby cameras and ran data analyses. Lu Di smiled helplessly. "So this is what a cyborg looks like." He then rubbed his chin thoughtfully. The Shenyan family's situation is even more complicated than expected. The next morning, Lu Di was exercising in the courtyard as usual. When Qingwen saw him, her gaze instinctively flickered away. Lu Di waved his hand. "Wenzu, where are we headed today?" Qingwen chuckled softly. Mr. Liu Di, I wouldn't dare trouble you. Father says you're now a distinguished guest of the Yan family. Liu Di bent forward slowly, a mischievous smile playing on his lips. I have something to tell you today. This man is just a driver, yet he's treated like a prized guest by a billionaire. Qingwen looked shy, unable to believe Liu Di's status was far beyond her father's. A smile tugged at Liu Di's mouth. I have something to discuss with you today. Qingwen pursed her lips in silence, then finally nodded. Then let's go to the Muyan Psychological Clinic. The scene shifted to the road. Qingwen in the backseat pulled out a metal ballpoint pen and clicked it repeatedly. Liu Di glanced back, chuckling. Miss Yan, is something bothering you? Qingwen's expression tensed, but her voice was uncertain. I want to know who you really are, and I want to understand how much I misunderstood you before. But Liu Di, sitting up front, only paused thoughtfully and didn't say more. Qingwen quickly added, It's okay if you don't want to say. I guess I don't have the right to ask. Liu Di chuckled softly, thinking, Identity really is something strange. Treatment differs so wildly depending on who you are. Qingwen couldn't help but visit again right after. You said you were going to hold a concert with my brother-in-law and his colleagues. That was just a joke, right? Liu Di replied, You've known me for a while now. Do I seem like the joking type to you? Qingwen kept pressing the ballpoint pen in his hand. You don't have to be so stubborn. I have no complaints about losing to my brother-in-law. Qingwen's eyes dropped low. Though he verbally conceded, his gaze was filled with doubt. Liu Di said, 4 days from now, our charity gala will go on as planned, right outside Lord Tuo's hospital. Make sure to buy plenty of snacks then. Qingwen was puzzled. Snacks? Why buy so many snacks? Liu Di looked back and said, Snacks are for the kids, of course. Otherwise, who were you performing for? Upon hearing this, Qingwen clenched his fists. Fine, then let's just make it a party for the kids. To hell with the performance competition. Soon, the vehicle arrived at its destination, the top psychological clinic in Haishi City. What kind of powerhouse could even leave Motong stunned? Liu Di and Yan Qingwen stepped out in front of Haishi's premier psychological clinic. Qingwen felt a bit embarrassed. Liu Di, I trust you, so I brought you here. Please keep my visit confidential. Liu Di assured him, Don't worry. In this messed up world, everyone's a little off. I'll keep your secret. Qingwen was annoyed by Liu Di again. He wanted to snap back, but thought better of it given Liu Di's background. Resigned, he swallowed his words, adjusted his mood, and rang the doorbell. A blonde woman stepped out. Her features were perfectly balanced, a true top-tier beauty. The strangest thing was the mole near her right eye, but it wasn't natural. She had drawn it herself. Suddenly, Motong blurted out, Is this really a psychologist? That mole revealed her inner self. Though she appeared refined, inside she was wildly untamed. A data stream appeared before Liu Di's eyes. The woman's name was Li Muyan. She held a PhD in psychology from Galen University and was also a master hypnotist. Li Muyan smiled gently and greeted the blonde, Wenwen. I've been waiting for you. Then she spotted Lu Li beside her. Who is this gentleman? Wenwen waved her hand and said, Him? I told you before, he's Liu Di. Li Muyan instantly shifted. Her beautiful eyes scanned Liu Di up and down, then she couldn't help but lick her lips, eyes burning with desire. Liu Di said nothing, quietly standing still, then politely nodded. Li Muyan and Yan Qingwen entered a private consultation room. Liu Di sat alone on the lobby sofa, curiosity gnawing at him. Why was Yan Qingwen here? Did she have some psychological condition? Suddenly, Motong popped up. Don't you think this place feels a bit off? Liu Di said, You startled me shouting like that. Did you find something? Motong waved and said, I just checked Li Muyan's computer. There's some interesting stuff on there. Liu Di's expression froze. That woman just now? What's on her computer? What kind of powerhouse has the strength and background to overshadow everyone? Motong explained, In the wild doctor's computer, I found detailed records of your behavior. A file unfolded in Liu Di's view, including 2 photos of him. Analysis showed he kept a low profile early on, but was closely linked to top factions. Motong added, That's not all. The wild doctor made psychological predictions about your motives and drafted a complete hypnosis plan. Suddenly, Liu Di felt a chill down his spine. Judging by the tone of the documents, they must have been provided by Yan Qingwen. Motong said, I checked her out. Yan Qingwen has come here 3 times a month for the past 3 years. Oddly, only check-in records exist, no case files. Seems the doctor is deliberately keeping secrets. Motong chuckled. But don't worry. From the info, Li Muyan seems like a legit doctor. Liu Di frowned, half understanding, half not. Is she really a legit doctor? Just then, a knock came at the door. Li Muyan entered slowly, carrying a cup of sake. She said, Wenwen's been under a lot of mental stress lately. I helped him relax a bit. Let him rest over there for now. Li Muyan's lips curled into a sly smile. Her gaze locked onto Liu Di, and she slowly leaned closer. Liu Di's mind wavered. Step 1 of the hypnosis plan was to unsettle him. Li Muyan smiled seductively. Mr. Liu Di, driving Wenwen around must be tiring. Would you like me to help you relax and get some rest? Our clinic offers a special service that uses psychological guidance to induce deep sleep, achieving complete physical and mental relaxation. Liu Di's mouth twitched slightly. Already on step 2, Li Muyan disguised hypnosis as deep sleep service. As she spoke, she pressed a remote on the table, and the lounge curtains slowly drew closed, turning the room into a completely private space. Li Muyan bit her lip. You know this project is worth 10,000. Usually, no one gets this chance. But today, for Wenwen's sake, I'll let you try it for free. How about that? Have you ever seen a hypnotist like this? She gently pressed the remote, pulling down all the curtains around them. Then, leaning close to Liu Di, she said, Today, for Yan Qingwen's sake, I'll let you experience a special project. Liu Di said nothing. A sly smile curled at the corner of his mouth. Li Muyan bit her lip again, confirming with Liu Di, Mr. Liu, are you willing? Any man at this point would have already surrendered, but Liu Di nodded calmly without changing expression. Li Muyan chuckled silently. Men really are all the same. Then, Mr. Liu, please lie down in whatever position feels most comfortable. She knelt beside Liu Di and sat down slowly. A captivating fragrance filled the air. She pulled out a metal pocket watch from her chest and asked Mr. Liu to focus his attention on it. Suddenly, with a click, the watch opened. Li Muyan's lips curved into a mesmerizing smile as the dials slowly began to spin, the patterns on the watch twisting into strange hypnotic shapes. But Liu Di was fully aware Li Muyan had already begun hypnotizing him. Suddenly, Motong alerted, Ancient Greek hypnosis subconscious fusion complete, followed by another. Anti-hypnosis resolute consciousness fusion complete. Li Muyan stared intently at Liu Di's face, her voice dreamy and soft. Your whole body is relaxed now, and you feel very comfortable. You're barefoot, walking on a warm sandy beach, with the sunlight growing brighter in the distance. Suddenly, that light approaches and envelops you. After I count down 3, you will tell me all your secrets. But Li Muyan suddenly froze, surprised to see purple light flickering in Liu Di's eyes. He shook his slightly dizzy head and continued counting down. Calmly, Liu Di flicked his lighter and lit a cigarette. Hearing the sound, Li Muyan stopped completely, frozen in place. Unconsciously, she had fallen into Liu Di's reverse hypnosis. Liu Di took a slow drag of his smoke and exhaled a cloud onto Li Muyan's face. Then, gently stroking his lips, he said, Now tell me, are you still a virgin? Just by lighting a cigarette, the woman's entire consciousness was swept into hypnosis. Then Liu Di hooked his finger under her chin and said, Li Muyan, now tell me, are you still pure? Li Muyan's eyes glazed over as she murmured, I'm not anymore. The first time was back in college with a senior. After that, a few times with patients at the clinic. Liu Di quickly waved his hand to stop her. He only wanted to confirm if she was hypnotized not to hear all this. Then he leaned back on the sofa and asked, Then why did you create a hypnosis plan for me? Li Muyan replied formally, Yan Qingwen wanted to know your secrets, but he changed his mind last night, and because I was curious to know everything about you, I came to you while he was asleep. Liu Di was instantly helpless. This was just absurd. When asked why Yan Qingwen kept coming to her clinic, Li Muyan spilled the truth. He actually suffers from passive personality concealment syndrome, and every time he clicks a pen, he's fighting his condition. Liu Di exhaled cold air. So Qingwen has been sick all along. How is he doing now? Li Muyan said it's complicated. Subconsciously, Qingwen feels his true self isn't accepted, so he craves affirmation from others. Liu Di was stunned. That does sound pretty tragic. Then, as if counseling, he asked, So how did this illness develop? Li Muyan explained 2 reasons. First, he's extremely driven but not validated by others. Second, it's congenital, a multiple personality trait in his genes. Liu Di frowned thoughtfully, sympathy creeping in. Just do what you can to treat him. Suddenly, Liu Di crushed out his cigarette. Remember, don't ever mess with me again. I'm a man you'll never conquer. Then Liu Di, using his knowledge of hypnosis, babbled nonsense. With each click of his lighter, Li Muyan's mind only reached one conclusion. Liu Di is just an ordinary man who happens to know some powerful friends. Liu Di pretended to just wake up, stretching comfortably. Li Muyan glanced at him nervously. You rest a while, I have things to handle. She then sneaked out of the lounge, went to the forest house, and woke up Kiss Sister. A pleased look crossed her face. I just successfully hypnotized Liu Di. This woman was a hypnotist, but a man had implanted another consciousness inside her. The woman suddenly stood up and hurried into the next room. Then she told Qingwen, Wake up quickly. I just successfully hypnotized Liu Di. Yan Qingwen's face showed some displeasure, but more than that, she couldn't believe it. Didn't I already tell you? Li Muyan smiled faintly. Who gave you permission to do that? Don't you want to know? What exactly is going on with Liu Di? Yan Qingwen hesitated, curiosity getting the better of her. She leaned in and whispered, Liu Di, what's really going on? Li Moyan's expression turned inscrutable. Remember your split personality? Liu Di has over 80 personalities. He's basically a freak. Yan Qingwen nearly choked. You're not joking with me again, are you? How do you live with over 80 personalities? Li Muyan asked. Don't you trust my medical skills? Liu Di switches personalities every 8 minutes on average during the 12 hours of daylight. Yan Qingwen quickly shook her head. I definitely trust you. But what exactly is his true identity? Li Muyan's face went blank for a moment. Liu Di's identity? He's a man I can never conquer. His mind grew more and more chaotic. He had no idea why he said that it was completely absurd. Suddenly, a ringing phone interrupted them. Yan Qingwen answered and exchanged a few brief words. Her expression changed drastically. Cold sweat appeared on her forehead. She rushed out of the clinic to find Liu Di. We have to leave now. Something's happened at the Yan family estate. Liu Di smiled slightly, then rubbed his chin. Let me guess, your eldest sister Yan Yuan is in trouble? He continued, was it a car accident? Or did she fall and injure her head and arm? Yan Qingwen tightened her grip on her arm, stunned. How did you know? Actually, Liu Di was shocked when he learned about it on the back mountain, but he remained expressionless. I noticed your eldest sister's forehead darkening recently. I suspect bloodshed. Yan Qingwen sighed helplessly. Could it be that Liu Di's personality switched again? Then she turned and said, we'd better leave quickly. The housekeeper said our eldest sister was attacked by assailants inside the Yan estate, but Liu Di showed no intention of leaving. Better not go. If I go, it might worsen his injuries. The billionaire's mansion had been attacked by assassins. Qingwen hesitated, knowing she had to return immediately, but Liu Di, the driver, refused to move. Qingwen wanted to say something but stopped herself. Thinking he was favored by father, she reluctantly frowned and nodded. Then she turned sharply and hurried out of the clinic. From Liu Di's perspective, Motong had already marked 6 coordinates, forming a connected route. Motong explained, this route is the shortest path from the back mountain to the Yan estate, and there are no usable cameras along the way. Liu Di thought to himself that Yuan's equipment was probably hidden at these locations, but he didn't plan to search personally. Instead, he sent the 6 addresses to Tishi. The Tai brothers were elite soldiers. Finding such things was child's play for them. Suddenly, Li Muyan pushed open the door, smiling at Liu Di with a fruit plate in hand. Liu Di said, not bad, there's even fruit to eat. Li Muyan blushed slightly, chest rising and falling. Liu Di, to be honest, you're the most handsome man I've ever seen. Liu Di frowned slightly. Isn't my implanted food and clothing enough? I'm the man he can never conquer. Could he be trying the impossible challenge? Suddenly, Motong chuckled. You seem to have forgotten Li Muyan's hobby decrypting and exploring. Li Muyan pulled out his phone. Liu Di, mind adding a Gemini friend? Liu Di sighed helplessly. Well, since you support my product, I reluctantly agree. With a ping, their Gemini accounts connected. Li Muyan was surprised. Your Gemini nickname is Third. Aren't you afraid of being mistaken for a tech genius and getting your account banned? Liu Di chuckled. If my account gets banned, I'll have to perform the iron cloth dance myself. Li Muyan laughed heartily. I didn't expect you to be so funny, Liu Di. Suddenly, news arrived from Tazy. Mr. Liu, the item you're looking for has been found. Liu Di smiled with relief, then raised his hand to recall and keep the item secret. I'll need it after the concert. Have you ever seen a pianist like this? Just one piece performed, and the video got 100 million likes. Then another post announced the first God of Song's concert will be held on June 19 in the Wanghai district. At this moment, Ouyang Fengyu sat proudly in his office. Brother Ziming truly delivered. He actually secured the legendary first inaugural concert. Seizing the moment, I am Ouyang Fengyu, vice president of Yinji Group and the person in charge of this first concert. The first will perform at Huishan Plaza, a venue that can hold nearly hundreds of thousands. And best of all, admission is free. Fans everywhere exploded with excitement. Could the legendary first really appear in person? No matter the cost, I have to be at that concert. Tickets and flights to Haishi City sold out nationwide. In just 3 days, the crowd is expected to multiply several times over. Meanwhile, the concert's manager, Nuzi Mingwang, simply couldn't believe the first would actually announce this, but with no other choice, she had to post it, even if reluctantly. At Yanjia Manor, after Yan Qingwen saw the announcement from the first, she knew her brother-in-law's concert could only succeed. She had already lost the fight completely. Suddenly, a few movers nearby caught Qingwen's assistant's attention. A gust of wind fluttered the white cloth covering a massive cargo. It slipped off, revealing an antique piano. Yan Qingwen thought to herself, isn't this the piano long forgotten in the basement? A vivid image flashed in her mind. It was exactly the same piano from the first video. Speculation flooded Qingwen's thoughts. Could Lu Di really be the legendary first? But the antique piano had long lost its tuning. Besides, how could this be such a coincidence? She approached the piano and called out, "Everyone, please wait a moment." Yan Qingwen's fingers trembled slightly as she slowly lifted the wooden cover over the keys. She gently pressed down one key after another. The sound struck her deeply. The piano now seemed masterfully controlled, its notes clearer and more beautiful than ever before. Suddenly, a mover's voice pulled her back to reality. "Miss, please don't hold us up. We need to deliver this cargo." Have you ever seen a concert like this? A venue that holds nearly 100,000 people, with a stage spanning thousands of square meters. This is the site of the first concert. An unprecedented spectacle, a historic pull. Everyone in Haishi city gathered at the heart of Huishan Plaza. This would be the largest outdoor concert in history. Meanwhile, the coastal road in Wanghai district was unusually quiet, a stark contrast to the buzz at Huishan Plaza. Unlike usual, a small makeshift stage built from broken wooden crates appeared here. On the wall behind the stage were blessings from the orphans at Toyi Hospital for Yan Qingwen. This was where Lu Di and Yan Qingwen held their charity event. Looking around, only two people attended: Nan Ruoyi, daughter of the capital's finance minister, and naturally Yan Qingwen. As for Lu Di, there was no sign of her anywhere in the hospital. Suddenly, a little boy grinned at Yan Qingwen and said, "Sister, when the concert starts later, don't forget to clap, okay?" Yan Qingwen nodded solemnly. These children's smiles were the only comfort she had today. As for what relationship Lu Di had with the first, she dared not imagine it nor hold onto any hope. Turning to Nan Ruoyi beside her, Yan Qingwen sincerely thanked her for coming, though she apologized for the humble scene today and hoped for her understanding. Nan Ruoyi shook her head gently. "Miss Yan, your kindness is admirable, but I think wherever the first is, there's no such thing as humble." Yan Qingwen sighed softly and then looked up to the distance. Countless laser beams swung and flashed, the vibrant atmosphere lighting up half the sky. Lost in thought, Yan Qingwen suddenly noticed two figures slowly approaching from a nearby alley. Surprised, Yan Qingwen called out, "Kaishan, you two came too?" Kaishan grinned. "We love the first, but we love our caring third sister even more. So we decided to come support your concert." What kind of concert could it be, drawing curses from hundreds of thousands of spectators? At the center of Huishan Plaza, the name of the first echoed through the sky. Suddenly, stirring music blared as a stylish, handsome host appeared, announcing, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from miles around to the first concert." The crowd erupted, girls screamed wildly. Some even fainted on the spot. The host spoke briefly. "It's exactly 8 p.m. on the 19th of June. Now, let's welcome the dazzling arrival of the first." Thick smoke burst from the stage, a figure emerging faintly. When half his back was revealed, it was a young man in a white shirt, slender in build. The audience exploded again, hands reaching out wildly, only to be held back tightly by security. Finally, the young man on stage turned slightly, a smile spreading across his face. The entire crowd fell silent in awe. Turns out teacher number one not only sings beautifully, but also looks stunning. As a soft accompaniment began to play, it was none other than the haunting melody of The Future Awaits, a song that had everyone captivated. The notes echoed throughout Huitian Square, yet the crowd below collectively took a step back, many breaking out in cold sweat. What was going on? Why did the voice of the so-called number one singing god sound off? Meanwhile, on the stage, a group of disabled children were performing at a charity gala. Yan Qingwen said, "This place is really hard to find. We almost got lost. Although we really wanted to see the number one's concert, we chose to come to our sister's charity event instead." Seeing the determined expressions on the two girls' faces, Yan Qingwen's expression softened instantly. She pulled the two little girls into a tight embrace, then turned and said, "Kids, it's time to get ready. Our performance is about to start." But at that moment, the children all smiled in unison. "Sister, we're not in a hurry. Let's wait a bit for brother Lu Di first." Long after, the alley remained dim and dark. The last performer at the charity gala finished, and happy smiles lit up everyone's faces. Then the hall burst into applause. Let's give a warm welcome to the next performer. Have you ever seen a concert that shook all of Huaxia? Yan Qingwen smiled faintly, but inside, she was filled with frustration. Lu Di's calls had gone unanswered countless times, and he still hadn't shown up. A beam of light lit up the rooftop beside them. A young man in a white shirt sat quietly on a high platform, with an old black piano placed before him. Then the notes began to flow. Slender fingers danced across the keys, producing ethereal, beautiful murmurs. The tone was melodious and lingering, filling Huitian Square. Hundreds of thousands fell silent instantly, their emotions riding a roller coaster, plunging into depths, then soaring skyward. Someone said, "The person at Huitian Square just now was a fake. This is the real singing god number one." The piano music from Lu Di's fingers continued, But as hundreds of thousands scanned around, the site was pitch black everywhere. Meanwhile, the building's core trembled as if an earthquake had struck. Windows were quickly opened to look outside. A dense sea of people surged forward, crossing towering skyscrapers and azure alleys. Only locals knew this was an old, neglected street with a few dilapidated low buildings. Yet no one could stop their steps. The sounds seemed their destiny, as if guided by divine will. In an instant, the street was packed shoulder to shoulder. Nan Ruoi immediately ordered her subordinates behind her. Protect all the children. No mistakes allowed. One boy nervously rubbed his hands. Liu Di, brother, said many people would come to see us, but I never expected this many. But how could a group of innocent children understand? This wasn't just many people, not even the world's top superstars could draw such a crowd at once. The leaders of the group said, "What kind of divine voice is this? It's giving me goosebumps all over." Suddenly, Liu Di stood up on the low building. "Where you are is a hospital for the poor, a place ignored by many. I thank those with kind hearts here, hoping to inspire everyone to start anew, to live with kindness." Inside, Lord Tuo smiled with satisfaction. He pulled out a bottle of Erguo 2 that Liu Di had brought and then smiled meaningfully. "Come on now, who's this mysterious figure? A mere concert rivaling an international superstar?" The singing god #1 turned to show his back and said, "I thank those with kind hearts for hosting this charity gala for hundreds of disabled children." At that moment, all the audience noticed the banner hanging behind. Who is Sister Yan? Could she be a daughter of the Yan family? Then the singing god #1 gently shook his hand, and a faintly glowing box flew out, crossing over 10 meters of the stage. Yan Qingwen, standing by the moonlit window, was momentarily stunned. Instinctively, she caught the flying box, her heart filled with questions. Could the man on the rooftop, admired by all, be the same man who saved her 3 years ago? If it really was him, how would she face the figure upstairs? He spoke aloud again. "I want to leave these words for my quarrelsome sister. Do good deeds without asking about the future." Then, with a swift sound, he disappeared from the light, vanishing from everyone's sight. All eyes turned instantly to the woman by the window. She was Sister Yan, apparently the third miss of the Yinji group. Kaishin, standing nearby, suddenly got excited. "Third miss, do you still know the singing god #1? Yan Qingwen, still confused, finally reacted and opened her palm. Inside lay a jade-green bead, glowing softly like a star. Yan Xingxing was too shocked to speak. "I really envy third miss. The #1 actually gave 3 gifts, and one is a pearl." The pearl reflected vividly in Yan Xing's pupils, and Beer later said softly, "That's not a pearl. It's called the Eye of Immortality." Yan Xingxing tilted her head. "Eye of Immortality? Why does that sound so familiar?" Yan Kaikai suddenly stepped forward to explain, "Third miss, isn't that the jewel you spent millions to buy at the auction a few days ago?" Yan Qingwen nodded absent-mindedly. "Kaishin is right, but I already gave it to Liu Di some time ago." Kaishin looked puzzled and asked, "Then why was it in the hands of the first, and why did he toss it to third sister?" Xingxing seemed to have realized something and said, "Kaishin, are you a bit slow? Liu Di times is times the #1 singing god." Kaishin was utterly baffled, unable to believe it. Our family's driver was actually the top singing god. Yan Qingwen looked at Kaishin and said, "Liu Di never revealed his true identity, but told me the truth through the immortal eye. He surely didn't want anyone else to know who he really island." At that moment, Yan Qingwen felt more moved than shocked. The power Liu Di had displayed these past few days was godlike, and his actions left her speechless. Have you ever seen a personal driver like that? His true identity was the most admired singing god in all of Huaxia. Yan Qingwen's heart raced, her voice trembling slightly. "Kaishin, do you two realize something? Why did we always misunderstand Liu Di before?" The two girls stared blankly, still lost in the shock moments ago, question marks forming in their minds. Yan Qingwen said, "He's just too extraordinary. We're not even on the same level as him." Kaishin was flooded with memories. They had tasted Liu Di's delicacies before, which were like food from another world. Xinjiang suddenly seemed to realize something. "My live stream suddenly became #1 in popularity. That must be because he glanced at me back then." Yan Qingwen forced a bitter smile. "Now, I believe Liu Di really did gamble billions in cash before, because with his influence, money is just a number." Kaishin looked guilty. "Xingxing, do you think Liu Di will forgive us for what we did before?" Xingxin bit her lip and said there was no way to talk about forgiveness. Maybe Liu Di never even cared about me. Suddenly, the two girls called out to third sister. "We have to go home now." Yan Qingwen was confused. "So sudden? Did something happen?" Kaishin and the other tightly gripped their hands. "We have to hurry and help Liu Di move. He's moving into the largest suite on the 5th floor of the manor." Then they rushed out in a panic. Yan Qingwen sighed, staring at the box in her hands. "Even if you help Liu Di move in, so what? Will he even come back? People like Ludi don't get tied down by the small Yan family. The scene shifted to the center of Huishan Square. The pitch-black stage was empty, but on it stood Ouyang Fengyu, laughing madly. He'd spent nearly 500 million only to hire a fake Dai. What he couldn't understand was why the singing god Emperor Yi would help Yan Qingwen. Then a figure flashed through his mind, Ludi. How many trump cards had he yet to reveal? He shouted loudly, "Lu Ziming, where the hell have you run off to?" What Ouyang Fengyu didn't know was that behind Huishan Square, two desperate figures were running for their lives. What's going on? The notorious underworld boss was personally involved. In a narrow alley, two men sprinted desperately, one carrying a briefcase filled with traps. Suddenly, the man behind slipped and fell hard on the steps, looking pitiful. "Brother Ziming, help me. We agreed to split profits 70/30, but now that things are exposed, don't just leave me behind." Lu Ziming tightened his grip on the briefcase. "I told you to train properly before. Now you're on your own." Lu Ziming turned around and said, "So what if things are exposed now? 300 million is enough for me to live off forever." But the next second, his body froze as dozens of burly men blocked the alley entrance. Standing before them was a graceful figure in a Cheong Sam, coldly staring at Lu Ziming. "You think you can just take the money and run? Tell me where you want to go." Lu Ziming felt the situation turn sour and instinctively stepped back only to hear a clatter of footsteps behind him. Another group of men blocked his escape, trapping him completely in the alley. The man named Ruoji smiled lightly, both enchanting and chilling. "Sir said you still owe him a bet. Now it's time to settle it." Lu Ziming was terrified. "What bet?" "I don't admit it. I never agreed, so it doesn't count." Ruoyi gently lifted her delicate hand. "Sir asked me to pass on a message." Lu Ziming's eyes went wide, stammering, What message?" Nan Ruoyi's gaze sharpened instantly. "Sir said the agreed penalty is to remove your right leg." With a wave of her hand, the men all surged forward. The narrow alley echoed with screams of pain. The scene shifted to the next morning. The headlines were ablaze. Yinjil Group spent 500 million on a super concert, only to hire a fake performer not even close to the #1 singing god. Meanwhile, Vice President Wu Yang, a shareholder with a terrible sense of direction, said, "You better explain this properly." Wu Yang Fengyu scratched his ear and explained, "What's there to explain? I was blind. This man just lost 500 million to a scam, yet he acts like it's nothing." Yan Laoyi frowned deeply. "What kind of attitude is that? You've really disappointed me. If it weren't for the charity gala hosted by Wenwen, our losses this time would be catastrophic." Ouyang Fengyu chuckled. "That gala was all because of Ludi. He's a two-faced snake, one thing to your face and another behind your back." Yan Laoyi's face flushed red, his anger obvious. "You're in terrible shape right now. Forget about the group's affairs for the moment. Go home and take good care of Yan Yuan." Ouyang Fengyu remained indifferent, shrugging. "Are you suspending me for my position now? Fine, do whatever you want." Then, ignoring the shocked expressions of the shareholders, he stood up and slammed the door as he left. The shareholders nearby, witnessing this, were clearly displeased. "This brat's getting out of control. He messes up and still has such a terrible attitude." Then, facing Yan Laoyi, they said, "You should seriously discipline your eldest son-in-law." Yan Laoyi was left baffled and trembling with anger. But what they didn't know was that Ouyang Fengyu hadn't left the company. Instead, he entered a few numbers in the elevator. Any employee witnessing this would be stunned because the Yinji Group building doesn't even have a basement level 4. At that moment, a swollen-faced summoner, looking like a pig's head, was already waiting by the elevator and asked, "Did those old guys give you a hard time?" Ouyang Fengyu turned toward the lab team. "What those old fools think of me no longer matters. Right now, I just want to defeat Lu Ding." The scene shifted to a deep lab, where an elderly professor stared at Ouyang Fengyu lying on the bed, his expression frozen. Then he solemnly said, "This might be different. Our second phase drug was just developed and hasn't undergone any testing. If something happens after you take it, I can't take responsibility." Ouyang Fengyu lay on the operating table, eyes steady. "Then estimate the success rate of the enhancement." The professor hesitated briefly. "Probably less than 10%. Ouyang Fengyu gritted his teeth and slowly uttered, "Only 10%? That's enough." But the professor looked troubled. "Without Yan Lai's approval, even if it succeeds, it's illegal and unethical. Have you ever seen a mutated human like this?" The professor said the experiment's success rate was only 10%, but Ouyang Fengyu on the table was unfazed. 10% is enough. Suddenly, Zhaozi angrily snapped, "Old man, didn't you use the unapproved first-phase drug on Vice President Ouyang before? And now you're lecturing us on ethics? Where were you then?" At that moment, Ouyang Fengyu adopted a righteous tone. "Professor Li, I've always trusted your ability. Don't let me down. The first phase boosted my strength by 20%. If this works, I'll recommend your promotion to assistant professor. Professor Li was silent for a moment, clearly tempted. He was eager for recognition of his research, even to the point of obsession. Half an hour later, Ouyang Fengyu was fully prepared, tightly bound to the operating table. Professor Li held a syringe, his face grave. This process is unpredictable. Failure could mean death. Ouyang Fengyu slowly closed his eyes. What supported him wasn't courage, but a burning hatred for Lu Ding. The serum slowly infused into his vein as he lost consciousness. Zhao Zhe and Professor Li watched intently. Everything seemed normal, no reaction at all. 10 minutes later, alarms blared. Heart rate fluctuated wildly. Blood pressure surged and dropped. Ouyang Fengyu's body convulsed violently, emitting painful screams. Zhao Zi was stunned on the spot. Professor Li widened his eyes. Will Vice President Ouyang die? He continued. This seems like a completely new reaction. Ouyang's physiology differs from normal humans. He grew increasingly excited. If the experiment succeeds, his physical abilities will exceed all my predictions. Ouyang Fengyu's body gradually calmed. The sound of restraint snapping echoed repeatedly. Suddenly, he snapped his eyes open and sat up effortlessly, laughing wildly inside. This is it, the godlike feeling. Professor Li and Zhao Zi looked terrified. They knew the experiment had succeeded. With just a slight effort, Ouyang Fengyu crushed the hard marble straps to dust. Moments ago, Ouyang Fengyu underwent the human enhancement experiment, displaying explosive power beyond the professor's expectations. Zhao Zi calmly remarked, Vice President Ouyang broke those straps with just his arm strength. It's incredible. Ouyang Fengyu couldn't contain his excitement. He knew deep down that this experiment was an overwhelming success. In contrast, Professor Li was stunned. Muscle strength increased by 500%. Body enhancement reached 300%. He turned his head with difficulty. Could this be too fitting with Vice President Ouyang? It was beyond imagination. Ouyang Fengyu tried to get out of bed, gently swinging his arms. He felt a terrifying surge of power coursing through him. Zhao Zhe stretched his fingers, signaling that we should first find that brat Lu Ding and settle the score. Cold light flickered in Ouyang Fengyu's eyes. I've already thought of a better plan. We can't let that kid off so easily. Beating him alone won't be convincing later, and it's just too dull. Scene shifts to the headquarters of Yinji Group. Major shareholders were still discussing new products, follow-up marketing, and plans to recover from the concert failure. Suddenly, with a loud bang, the meeting room door was forcefully pushed open. Ouyang Fengyu stood at the entrance, face burning with intensity. Yan Laoyi glared in frustration. Did you stop here? Our second phase is about to succeed. The old master Yan couldn't believe it. This was simply impossible. Beside him, Zhao Zi quickly pulled out documents. Here are all the experimental data. Chairman, please review. Ouyang Fenyu's face was full of excitement. Father, I just tested the drug on myself. The experiment is complete. Old Master Yan immediately scolded. You're reckless. Do you know what happens if the experiment fails? Ouyang Fengyu nodded. I know. But for the group, I'm willing to take the risk. The shareholders in the meeting were equally shocked. Fengyu had just made a major breakthrough. Now, they could establish stable cooperation with the military. An issue that had plagued them for 2 years was finally resolved today. Ouyang Fengyu chuckled. Father, we can invite Haishi to witness the research results with us. This man had amplified his strength 5-fold through experimentation, but he still wasn't satisfied. 2 hours later, Haishi personally arrived at Yinji Group by helicopter. His gaze was filled with a hint of disdain, but more so excitement. He rubbed his chin and said, Old Yan, are you sure the experiment succeeded? And on your son-in-law, no less. Ouyang Fengyu said nothing, standing elegantly in the center of the room. Old Master Yan's eyes gleamed with golden light. No need to say more, you'll see for yourself. Haishi called out, Huishang, test your strength, throw a punch. Huishang immediately clasped his fists. He was the leader of the Tianluo group, traveling with Haishi. Nearly 2 meters tall, his muscles bulged fiercely. With a thunderous crash, the numbers on the strength tester soared rapidly, finally settling at 200 kilograms. Old Master Yan was stunned. Tianluo's people were truly extraordinary. Even a world-class boxing champion's strength only peaked at 150 kilograms. Ouyang Fengyu chuckled softly, then gracefully removed his British-style suit jacket. Now it's my turn. Suddenly, his calf muscles tensed, channeling all his power into a single strike. A louder, deeper sound rang out. The strength tester before him trembled violently. Branches swelled explosively, and smoke began to rise from the display, tiny sparks flickering. Old Master Yan gasped sharply. Either the machine was pushed beyond its measuring limits, or the punch had damaged the sensor. Suddenly, Haishi eagerly said to Huishang, You and Fengyu fight. I want to see how this performs in real combat. Huishang furrowed his brows. Based on the earlier strength test, defeating Ouyang Fengyu would indeed be very difficult. Ouyang Fengyu waved his hand. Gentlemen, forgive me for being blunt. Officer Huishong likely isn't my match, but isn't there a promising young member at the Yan estate admired by military officials? Why not bring him here for a showdown? Old Master Yan suddenly realized. You mean Brother Liu? That's just nonsense. Heishan stroked his chin. I don't think so. I'm actually curious if Lu Di can stand up to him. A wicked smile curled on Ouyang Fengyu's lips. Haitian's decision is right. What kind of hacker could bring the entire Chinese cybersecurity team to its knees? In the Wanhai district, Lu Di lay quietly on a rock, watching seagulls soar above while studying the code before him. He stayed there because an unexpected problem had just appeared. Meanwhile, Sun Dongming, leader of the Chinese cybersecurity team, frowned deeply at the screen. It showed a video. He rubbed his greasy hair, puzzled. The emergency during last night's charity gala kept the team awake all night. He watched that video for 3 hours straight, still no clues. Suddenly, someone said, "This is unbelievable. Who could hack into our power control system? Not just streetlights, but the sound system too. This has to be a top-tier hacker." Sun Dongming crushed his cigarette hard. Whether it's the first time or this hacker, at least find me one. At that moment, a cybersecurity officer suddenly looked up. Leader, I found the hacker's IP. Sun Dongming immediately approached the computer. Where is he? Give me the address. I'm going to catch him myself. The cybersecurity officer waited bitterly for his location, one moment at the Egyptian pyramids, the next in the distant Arctic. Sun Dongming Wenyan's anger flared. This was blatant provocation, a clear sign they didn't take the China Cybersecurity Bureau seriously. The officer pointed to a nearby screen. But the team leader left a back door. We should be able to communicate with him. Sun Dongming sat at his computer, anger simmering inside. He knew this was the moment to face off with a top hacker. Suddenly, Lu Di sent a message. Hello, team leader Dongming. A chill ran down his spine. How did he know my name was Dongming? Lu Di quickly apologized. Sorry about yesterday, I was trying to surprise a friend, made a bit of noise, but luckily no real damage. Sun Dongming clenched his temper. True, there was no damage, even saved some power, but his boss gave him 12 hours to capture Lu Di. Then the message came, Where are you? Come to the bureau for a statement now. Lu Di just replied with a cold, hey hey. Furious, Sun Dongming raised an ashtray to smash the computer but suddenly received a data packet that automatically decrypted itself, filled with dense code and numbers. Sun Dongming's pupils shrank. Are these bank account numbers? And these lines mark the path of fund transfers. What kind of hacker is this one data packet worth over 10 billion? The screen displayed strings of bank accounts and clearly marked transfer routes. The cybersecurity team leader froze. This is impossible. How did you do this? Lu Di replied, Aren't you investigating a major money laundering case? With my info, you can solve it smoothly. Consider it my way of making amends. Sun Dongming couldn't believe it. This man was definitely a super expert. He wanted to block him immediately, but after thinking, typed, a deal's a deal. Hacking the maritime power system is impossible. Let's leave it at that. Lu Di replied, To be honest, do you really think you can catch me? If you consider this making amends, maybe we can still be friends. Curiosity got the better of Sun Dongming. Who are you? Lu Di responded with just 2 characters. Fourth. Suddenly, Sun Dongming slammed the table. It was confirmed he was definitely Chinese and a fan of the first. He pasted Fourth's personal info on the desk. This man was an International Hall of Fame hacker, danger level, 3 seconds. Moments later, Sun Dongming calmed down. I will catch this Fourth, no matter what. If not, I'll face you in my next life. The scene shifted to a rocky reef where Lu Di stretched lazily, thinking. Finally settled here. Time to deal with Ouyang Fengyu the small fry. Then he received a call from Elder Yan. On the other end, message, there's an experiment at the company. Come over. Lu Di smiled. I'm still taking a walk at Wanghai. Wait a moment, I'll be right there. Then he hung up. Elder Yan looked toward Black Mountain, sighing, It's 10 kilometers from Wanghai. He should be here in about an hour. 10 minutes later, the elevator door on basement level 4 of the Yinji group dinged open. A young man strolled out with his hands behind his back. Lu Di's smile was bright. Sorry to keep you waiting, everyone. Black Mountain instantly lost his composure. Wasn't it supposed to be an hour? How did he arrive in 10 minutes? Elder Yan hurried over to Lu Di. Explain how you got past the access control. This security system is worth 200 million. Lu Di rubbed his head. I know computers. I hacked your system and added a few extra firewalls while I was at it. He then walked slowly to the center of the site. Everyone, you invited me here today to defeat Ouyang Fengyu, right? Ouyang Fengyu sneered arrogantly, eyes turning cold. With a weakling like you, I'll crush you to pulp. Lu Di chuckled. You keep babbling here. When will you be done? With just one kick, A human with 5 times muscle strength was instantly knocked senseless just a moment ago. Ouyang Fengyu scoffed. With Lu Di's frail body, one punch is all it takes to turn him into mince. Lu Di chuckled again. Bring it on. No need for all that extra talk. Ouyang Fengyu laughed maniacally. If you're so eager to die, I'm happy to help. His legs bent slightly, the ground trembled, air swirling. Ouyang Fengyu launched himself like a cannonball straight at Liu Dai. Black Mountain shouted, Lu Di, get out of the way. Elder Yan lost patience. Lu Di, what are you doing? Lu Di remained expressionless, hands shoved deep into his pockets. The outside shouts crashed around him, unstable. Then, he slowly raised his right foot and in an instant, kicked Ouyang Fengyu square in the face. With a loud thud, Ouyang Fengyu slammed heavily against the metal wall of the test site. The 10-centimeter thick wall dented deeply, and he slumped like a ragdoll, foam spilling from his mouth as he slid down to the ground. Lu Di still stood hands in pockets, lowering his raised right foot with deliberate ease. This was the power of muscle enhancement, 5-fold. Trash, nothing more. But such formidable cyborg technology must be used on people with a righteous heart. Modifying someone like Ouyang Fengyu was like planting a ticking bomb. Lu Di then shifted his gaze to Lord Yan. I've sent you a file. It should have reached your company's legal department by now. Master Yan widened his eyes. You can't say things like that. Just then, the phone rang. On the other end, they said a whistleblower report had just come in evidence that Ouyang Fengyu planned to embezzle company assets and was scheming to kidnap Yan Qingwen. Lord Yan's phone slipped from his hand. Whatever was said on the call, he couldn't bear to listen any longer. Professor Li nearby shouted anxiously, Vice President Ouyang, are you all right? Wake up! Hurry! At that moment, Ouyang Fengyu stirred to his feet, but his expression was vacant, a dazed look blanketing his face. Foam still bubbled at his lips as he sang a nursery rhyme. Lu Di shrugged, sounding resigned. His strength comes from adrenaline, but the brain can't handle it. The aftermath can be severe like now, turning into a fool. Lord Yan was struck dumb, as if hit by lightning. His eldest son-in-law had been reduced to a mindless state, yet he couldn't find the words to speak. Lu Di suddenly turned around. I've said it before, every citizen has a duty to the nation's rise and fall. I'll assist with the cyborg soldiers, just give me some time. This man was nothing more than a driver, yet he was hunted by international assassins. Just now, with a single kick, the richest family's eldest son-in-law was knocked into a mindless wreck. He sighed softly. The Yan family is about to face major upheaval, and I'm likely to be hunted down too. After all, who would expect Lord Yan's eldest daughter to be an international assassin? Suddenly, Motong spoke up. My core algorithm is optimized. I can upgrade from weak AI's 3rd training stage to the 4th at any time. But I need a location quiet, secluded, preferably mechanized. Lu Di grew curious. He almost forgot the seemingly all-powerful demon in his eyes was still just a child. Then a file appeared in Lu Di's view. The site was overgrown with weeds, and a plaque at the entrance read, Haishi Technology Exhibition Hall. Motong said, This is the best site I've tested, but it now belongs to Haishi University, so I can't purchase it through the network. Lu Di's eyes flickered as he nodded lightly. Leave it to me. It's time to reconnect with some old contacts. The scene shifted to Haishi University, Lu Di's alma mater. Through the window, Professor Wang Yuankui was seen lecturing over 100 students. Professor Wang said, When we talk about artificial intelligence, we must consider whether the one who controls it is a benevolent ruler. Lu Di stood outside the window, memories stirring. It felt like time had rewound to those university days, back to the classroom. Motong continued, AI has levels. After my sequence upgrade, I'll rival what's called strong AI. As he spoke, a progress bar appeared in Lu Di's view. 20 minutes later, the class bell rang. Professor Wang greeted his students, gathered his materials, and stepped out. At the door, a familiar figure awaited his habitual white shirt and jeans, the unmistakable Lu Di signature. Professor Wang rubbed his eyes, confirming what he saw. Where have you been all these years? Not once did you contact me. Lu Di had been Professor Wang's most proud disciple 3 years ago, even renowned throughout Haishi University. He then mentioned some trouble he was facing and needed the professor's help. Professor Wang's scholarly face darkened. Spit it out. Are you here to lobby Guo Qian? Lu Di was baffled. You've got the wrong idea, Professor. I just want to buy that abandoned exhibition hall. Suddenly, Professor Wang spun around. You two have the same goal and say you're not working together? Can't you stop competing over money and focus on advancing technology? Lu Di was stunned by his mentor's lecture, then shrugged helplessly. So, do I just hand in homework like in school to earn credits and get to make requests? Professor Wang sighed. I know your brain's injured. You should find a steady job and live a stable life. If you need financial help, just ask me. Lu Di grew more helpless right now. He couldn't explain himself. The all-powerful Motong in Liu Di's eyes was actually still a child. Motong urgently needed to upgrade his sequence and required a site immediately. Liu Di looked up his old university friend Guo Qian. In just 3 years, Guo had become chairman of a real estate group. The experimental site Motong needed happened to be their next development project. Liu Di smiled with relief and quickly dialed Guo Qian's number, excitement barely restrained at the corner of his mouth. I heard you're planning to buy the experimental graveyard's delivery. I happen to have the same idea. I think we should discuss it. Suddenly, a low, mocking laugh came from the other side. Your mind's already shot, and you still dare to put on a show with me. Back then, I called you brother because I thought you had some talent. Now, what exactly are you? Liu Di never expected that in just 3 years, a once close friend would turn so petty and bitter. The scene shifted to Professor Hai Day's office. Professor Wang looked disappointed, murmuring with a sigh. Could it be that my vast maritime university can't produce a single standout patent? Just then, he received several emails at once. Professor Wang wondered, which brat sent me all these materials at once? He put on his reading glasses, eyes glued to the screen without a moment's rest. Among them were 6 technical proposals. The biomimetic shoe array material could absorb radar waves and even cloak buildings. Each subsequent material was extraordinary, potentially sparking a technological feast with today's science. As he scrolled further, he saw Liu Bei's name. Liu Jianzong stated, willing to share research results with alma mater, only hoping for some support in return. Professor Wang slammed his fist on the desk, eyes alight with excitement, and immediately headed to the dean's office. After reviewing the documents, Dean Li couldn't stay calm. Even one of these exposed would shake the entire tech world. Whatever support he needs, I'm ready to provide. Professor Wang, go call Liu Di over now so we can discuss the patents. An hour later, Liu Di assured, rest assured, I'm willing to disclose these 6 patents publicly as a student of Maritime University and authorize the college. Dean Li smiled warmly. For that spirit alone, the rights to use the experimental graveyard are yours. Liu Di put hands on hips. It's the least I can do. I'm also willing to donate an additional 100 million to help Maritime University rebuild a science exhibition hall. Director Li turned his gaze to Professor Wang beside him. Old Wang, you really teach well. Liu Di is truly a loyal and devoted student. Professor Wang hurriedly replied, it's an honor for me to have such a student. Keep following Manhwa Archive for fresh, overpowered twists.